welcome one and all. This is Critical Mess, episode 50.
50! We did it!
5-0.
Can't believe that. So this is the podcast where we usually talk about movies the critics and audiences don't agree on. Might be some of that tonight, but this is our very special 50th episode, so we'll be doing some ever so brief commentary about some of our favorite all-time films. So it should be pretty fun. Brian, Gris, producer Ben, all here. Say hello, gents.
What's up, gang?
Hey, Brian MC Cullen here.
So here's how this works here tonight. So all four of us created a list of our top 100 films, in order, of course. So Brian took those lists and compiled them, and based on where they ranked on our individual lists, we created this Critical Mess all-time top 100. So for this episode 50, we're going to talk about films 51 through 100 on this list. And I can't say we've all seen all of the movies. I will say we've probably seen almost all of them. I think we're probably pretty close. We've got plenty to say, but not too much to say because we're going to keep it to 2 minutes. 2 minutes per film. So, and by the way, we're going to do our top 100 films for episode 100. So we are committing to 50 more episodes. Are we okay with this, guys?
Yeah, we're okay with it.
Okay.
Wait, so you're saying episode 100 will be
The other
numbers 50 through 1?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have a sweat smile emoji next to that. Okay, so before we start, we're going to ask humbly, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. That would be really great. It takes like half a second. We'll do something nice for you, maybe. We have 32 subscribers right now. We want to get to 33.
Yep.
Okay.
You can literally make that happen.
You have
just
the
need
power.
one.
You
Just
have
one.
the power. You have the power to make that happen, to get us to our goal, our mutual goal, working together toward this. So please help us get there. Many channels ask for hundreds, thousands of subscribers. We're asking for one. So join us, friend. Join us. Also, we're happy to report that we have more than 10,000 plays now, which is pretty cool. Pretty amazing for 32 subscribers.
Yeah.
bad.
Well, that includes Apple Podcasts.
Apple and Spotify,
as well. But still very cool.
10,000 total listens, man. That's amazing.
That's pretty great. So thank you for listening.
You guys
to
are
us.
awesome.
Yeah, I cannot believe we have more than 10 plays total. To be
Why? What kind of why?
Yeah. So anyway, so thank you.
It's Brian's corner.
Well, that's
It's
mostly
all
it.
Brian's corner.
It ain't Tharks. We know that.
So, well, yeah.
What?
So we're still going to do an icebreaker tonight. It's going to be related to kind of what we're doing here tonight. So here it is. What's a movie that's in your top 100 list that is not in anyone else's top 100 list and you're pissed about it?
I'll start.
Wow.
He's aggressive much.
Sorry, no. I feel. Notice how I didn't say anything after I introduced myself. I feel a time pressure. We got to get to these movies. We got to go. So I'll just start real quick here, and we're going to talk about this soon because it's in my top 100. It's very close to the top. But a movie that I could not believe is not, and we should clarify. You may have already said this, but this includes producer Ben. So four people's top hundreds.
Right.
It's consolidated down to the 100 through 50 we're talking about today. But in my top 100 is a masterpiece that I'm just shocked is not on anyone else's list, and that's Schindler's List. It's funny, it's called Schindler's List. Anyway.
Okay.
But Schindler's List, yeah, it's in my top 100, and I'm really surprised that I'm the only one. So,
I mean, noted. I literally started it last night, and I've never seen it before. So I
okay,
will
well,
finish it, and maybe it will.
maybe it
It's in my
will
top
pop up
100.
98, 97
Yeah,
or
maybe,
something. Maybe,
maybe.
yeah, no pressure.
I was making out during it.
Well, that's a
reference.
yeah.
Nice.
Whoa.
I mean, so was I, but it's still in my top 100.
I'll go.
Right.
Godfather 2, guys.
Yeah.
Come on. Godfather 1 apparently made some lists. Godfather 2 is like 2% worse than Godfather 1.
I actually think it's better than Godfather.
I'm not even mad at that.
I've heard that debate a lot.
I used to think that.
Yeah.
I used to think that. I had some soul searching and decided that 1 was actually the better film. But come on, guys. No one. You can name 100 better films than Godfather 2?
I can. I listed them here.
Yeah,
and
all right.
Godfather 1 and 2. I mean, there's so many amazing movies that are not in my top 100. I've seen too many movies.
Yeah,
I just have seen 5,000 movies. So, it's...
Wow, brag.
Jeez, brag much.
I don't know. I mean, I had to
what you
justify my omission.
I'm furious because this is my number one movie, and it's The Prestige by our boy Nolan. And I'm shocked that none of you have it
Not
on
my
your...
boy.
I'm not shocked that it's not on Nick's.
Yeah, Nick, not so much. But I'm just shocked that it's not on anyone's list for this top 100. I mean, I think it's brilliant. Every time I watch it, it's my number one spot.
I have other Nolan movies in my top 100.
I know.
It's not like that. That just isn't. One.
It's hard. I think it's super underrated. And the more I watch it, the more I love it and appreciate it. So
Yeah,
it's tough.
I will say this: it is an absolute amazing movie.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
I love
Totally
it.
is a great movie.
Totally.
I would rank Interstellar higher, but again, it's a great movie. Yeah, so good.
Ben, you want to toss one in?
I didn't prepare.
Okay, no problem. Sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, well, you can cut that later.
Sorry.
Well, no, there was a time recently where we like, what about you, Ben? And he goes, no. Just like, I respect that.
Yeah.
Thank you for not
Yeah,
just bullshitting. Like,
Yeah, we're
if you
trying
don't
to
have an
include.
opinion,
We're
don't
trying
say
to
it.
include you, Ben. So as always, we've got a special announcement from Gris.
Yep. criticalmasspodcast.com. Shoot, I forgot to put our latest episode, The Saint, on there. I'll do that tomorrow morning. I promise.
Do you like it?
Well, it'll be a week before because this will come out. Yeah.
But we are. It's almost always up to date, and like I said, we've got those intern applications and interviews coming for some updated copy. But the copy that's there is good, serviceable.
And I hear we've got like 200-300 applications for the intern position.
There's a lot. Yeah,
Too many
So
to
we'll
go
be
through.
sifting through those, and we'll be getting back to
it's a shame we don't have an intern to sift through them because that's what we're trying to do.
That's why we're hiring
looking
them.
endless.
Do you want to explain the Do You Like It?
Oh, yeah. So we're going to be using a Do You Like It sample throughout this podcast just because we think it's funny. And it's from The Saint, our previous episode.
Listen to the Saint episode,
Yeah,
please.
where you'll understand the reference then. But it's Val Kilmer. He says, "Do you like it?"
Do you like it?
Yeah, specifically go to 1 hour and 15 minutes and 12 seconds into that episode,
Bam.
and you will hear an amazing conversation
Yeah.
regarding
good,
that.
Good to clarify that. Okay, we're going to go quickly to the feedback corner. Any feedback this week, guys?
Oh, yeah. Do we have any messages?
Yeah, we do. The ending of Barbarian is certified terrible.
Trash.
No.
Not by me, but that's our feedback.
By
Nick,
me
it's
and
our
a
feedback.
commenter. Yes.
That's valid feedback.
That's great
That is
feedback.
2 people
yeah.
Hey,
that have said it.
that's 100% of the comments is talking about how trash that ending is.
Yeah.
So-
Amazing.
No other feedback.
Okay. Okay. Sock game. Got green socks. Match green shoes. Match green pants. Kind of matching. So, yeah, I'm
It's a vibe.
fucking trying. I'm not wearing the white little, short ankle cut socks anymore.
I still am.
So,
Well,
well,
it's okay.
no, those are the no shows.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah. Okay. So we're working on it. We're still working on it.
You millennial.
We'll take any more
Elder.
feedback.
We're trying to stay young.
So, as we go through these movies, we will let you know where they rank on our individual lists. So a lot of the films, like for example, might only be on one person's list, but because they ranked it highly, it made our cumulative top 100. So just being clear on that. So we'll keep you posted throughout. So guys, ready to get in?
Yeah.
Keep track.
Yay,
We're going through a
yay.
lot of movies here.
All right, here we go.
Let's do
Hold
it.
on. Remind us one more time how it works.
Yeah.
What do you mean, Ben?
Just how the whole situation works.
This is a
Okay.
podcast.
What are we doing here?
Yeah, here's what we're doing. So we've all made a top 100 movie list. Brian has amalgamated that list into one list that represents our cumulative top 100, with Ben included. So 4 people's top 100s. We're going to be talking through movies number 51 through 100 for 2 minutes apiece or less. So we're gonna just
We
see.
each get one movie.
Oh,
that
yeah,
we can
right.
we can go double time.
And if you want to
on.
extend one, you can extend one.
yeah,
if
we
you so
each-
choose.
we each get one to double time.
And Ben
Ben's
is
our
moderating and timing to keep us on track.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So here we go.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Let's do it. Here we go. Number 100. Clueless. Clueless is number 100. This is only on Brian's list. This is ranked number
What?
24. Number 24.
24?
So pretty high. Top quarter
Dang.
for Brian. So, Brian, we'll let you start. Talk about it.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, it's hilarious. I think it's got broad appeal. I can watch it with April. I can watch it by myself. Early Paul Rudd. But I just think the performances are so good. It's such a vibey piece. I want to live in LA. I want to be part of that group. But yeah, it's really hilarious, and it has really, really good character arcs for the type of movie that it is. I like the arcs. I mean, they really go places, and it's got one of the hottest people that ever lived, Stacey Dash. So I mean that added
Yeah.
points to the movie for me. But it's a 5-star movie for me.
I like that it's kind of a movie about the cool kids. I think that's kind of notable because usually those kind of movies are about kind of the group of kids that are kind of the misfits or kind of the ragtag group, but this is actually about the cool kids. And also just quick fun fact about this movie. So Donald Faison is just who I think about. Like that's what I, so that and Scrubs, right? This is
I
what
think
he
about
did.
it Clueless
yeah.
before Scrubs.
Sure.
Yeah, he's so funny in this movie.
It's very funny.
Dave Chappelle was up for that role.
Was he?
Oh.
Dang.
Yes. Yes.
Faison's
he?
better though.
That would've
when
been
did this
good.
come out? When did it come out?
97.
Man, Chappelle would have been real.
I don't
early.
know.
Yeah, it would have been early Chappelle.
Yeah. Dang.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest. If this movie came on while on TNT on rerun or USA, I would have just skipped right past it. Sorry,
but it's one of those hidden gems for me. Just really hits on all cylinders.
Wow, you did it under 2 minutes.
Wait, what do we clock in there?
That was 24 seconds left on the clock.
Wow.
Okay.
All right,
let's move on.
Amazing. I didn't even have to hit.
You'll have plenty.
Yeah, we'll have some special music
we'll
coming
have a
on.
few.
Okay.
All right. We're going to move on to number 99. Number 99 is Night of the Living Dead. This is on my list only. Number 23. So quick story about this one. So the first time I saw this film was in a little cabin in the woods, probably back in the 90s. My father decided it would be a good idea to show a young child this film.
Thank you, Ken, for doing this.
In
we
a
appreciate
cabin.
you.
In the
It's
middle
built
of
the
the
man
woods.
he is.
In a cabin.
No one in sight, nothing around, just trees and bats and scary spiders. And so I saw this at an impressionable age in the middle of the woods, just chilling in this cabin, and it kind of scared the shit out of me. And I just to this day I think this movie is just really creepy. It made a big impression on me. So I have to also point out the fact that the protagonist just gets killed in the end of this movie. It's just so fucking brutal, but it just fits the film so well.
Yeah.
And I also think this film holds up super well today. I think the choice to shoot it in black and white was really, really smart. And just kind of really adds to the ambiance of the movie. And I don't think George Romero would really do anything even close to this good ever again, honestly. And to be fair, I haven't seen all his movies. I know he's got a few that are pretty acclaimed, but I haven't. This movie is just phenomenal to me.
Yeah, it's innovative. It's horrifying. When I was watching it, it's like broad daylight, and I'm scared to death.
Yeah.
You know, what you got these slow moving sort of zombies coming in, and it's. I feel like I know it wasn't the first zombie movie, but it was the first most important zombie. You know, I feel like it was very, very influential on so much of the zombie industry.
The mix of the black and white plus the visual effects that they did, or not the visual effects, the makeup that they did on these zombies, but also like the concept of just a slow moving zombie. You also like you can't hear them versus the new age. So new age zombies that are sprinting at you.
Yeah.
Do we? Which do
like
we
World
prefer?
War Z or like the Army of Darkness? What is that?
World
What's
Z.
the Zack
World War
Snyder
Z.
one that just came on?
Oh God.
Army of
the Dead.
Army of the Dead. No, what's it called? Was it?
Yeah, Army of the Dead. I think. Yeah, that sounds about right.
All right.
Anyway, okay, all right, good. We're done.
We love that the music plays at the end of every.
Yeah, that's what's gonna happen.
That is what happens when we go at 2 minutes.
So we're going to move on to number 98. Number 98, and that is Crimson Tide. This is only on Brian's list. And also for Brian, number 23.
Dang.
Yeah, this was going to be my answer to I'm shocked this isn't on anyone else's top 100 lists. I think the kernel of this movie to me and what makes it so rewatchable is the Gene Hackman versus Denzel. The dialogue that they have when they're talking over each other. The way that they do that is just so brilliant because it doesn't turn into noise. Somehow you're hearing what they're both saying, and you really see both of their points of view. And while I think that Gene Hackman is definitely the antagonist and Denzel's the protagonist, he's a very sort of relatable or like understandable antagonist. You see where Hackman's coming from. You sort of see he's this hardened general. And they've got to make these super high stakes decisions. And I just love all of the dialogue between the two of them. I mean, that's enough to put this on my top 100. But the reason it's so far towards the top, that Hans Zimmer score is amazing. The cinematography is amazing. And I love single location movies. And most of this movie takes place on the sub. Viggo Mortensen, so many people. It's an ensemble cast. There's lots of people who went on to become big actors. So it gets me hyped.
Agreed. I mean, this is a recent watch for me because it was on your list and you told me to. I add movies that you guys suggest all the time. So this was one I recently watched, and it's just so crazy to watch these two outstanding actors in such a tight quarters, like the whole film. It's just, I mean, there's a lot of movies that just happen within a small space. So I think this is one of those.
I mean, those two guys were so established by the mid '90s when this came out, and I feel like they were both at the top of their game. And the director just said, "Let them cook, let them go." And then it was a showcase for them. So.
Hans Zimmer on top of that, brilliant.
The music, the theme, the main theme is slamming. Someone needs to turn that into like a rap battle beat. Yeah, it'll be really hot.
Yeah, I think if I had one line to say about it, I'd say Hackman is an unstoppable force and Denzel's an immovable object. So,
Okay. All right. We're moving on to number 97. Number 97 is Midsummer. Midsummer.
Oh, this
Ben,
movie.
this is interesting.
So
Ben,
this is actually me.
Yeah, and Ben,
It's just
I
you,
have,
right?
I have to say,
Yeah.
Ben, this is also 23, which is
Yeah.
interesting. We've all had 23s here.
So okay, I'll start it.
Please.
So
Yeah.
the reason that I put it on my list is because I really enjoy the same reason you loved Night of the Living Dead. There's a lot of horror that happens during the day. Like it is a cerebral horror film that is beautiful to look at, but also terrifying. And I saw it 3 times in the movie theater and then went back and saw the director's cut. Like, I enjoyed it so much that I put it on my top 100. And I really liked that it was very well acted. You didn't understand where it was going all the time because you were constantly guessing. And in a good horror movie, I feel like that's a valuable thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I would put it in my probably top 5 horror movies of all time.
Yeah.
It's the single most unsettling movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And it put Florence Pugh on the map for me.
Absolutely.
So,
For sure.
Her acting in that is incredible.
man, she's amazing.
I literally just wrote down this movie fucked me up, and that's props to A24. I think it's hard to watch A24 films now because I kind of expect the unexpected. I don't get the shock factor as much as I used to. So this is one of those first ones where I was like, the unsettling, like you said, it was just there is no other movie like it.
And I still don't know how to say it. So respect.
Midsummer.
Midsommar.
I fell asleep trying to watch it.
Oh, no.
Apologies to Ben. I remember some old people.
You tried.
You
That's all
tried.
they did, yeah.
Some old people jumped off a cliff, and then I was out.
You didn't like the part where they got their head smashed in?
Yeah, with that huge
Yeah, I
hammer.
was kind of in and out. I feel like I feel like I'd been drinking that night. It just wasn't a good night for Midsummer.
Fair.
But Ben, I'll get back to it.
Ben, on that pad, can you, if you rapid hit, does it like do the sound effect layered?
Yeah.
So you
No,
could
not
get like
layered.
a do like,
But
okay.
Yeah.
Boo.
I know.
It could be fun with a current affair.
I know.
Yeah, that would be fun. I'm sure there's probably a thing I could set up, but
Yeah, we're working on it.
Yeah.
Number 96. Moving on to Inside Out.
Wait, that was number 96. No, I know I'm wrong. That was number 97. You're right. My numbering's all off by one. Shit.
My
Oh,
God.
boy.
He's got to fix his numbering.
Damn it. I'll just look at the main list.
I'm
Yeah.
so sorry.
Keep going.
That's
Isn't
been Brian's corner.
96.
That was Brian's
No,
corner of
that's
this episode.
that's coming.
Is Inside Out on my list too? Is that
Ben, this is one you're going to have to talk about again
Oh,
because
boy.
it's on
Oh,
Ben's
no.
list only, and it's number 22.
I really hope that all of the top 50 are not
Just
or
all
the
yours.
bottom 50 are just my movies.
Ben, let it rip.
Inside Out is amazing. It's one of the best animated movies of all time. It has the concept of core memories was created because of that movie. The arcs of all the characters and especially Riley is amazing. It is used to teach people about feelings, like autistic people who don't understand feelings can watch that movie and and learn more about how they can experience feelings.
Yeah. The balance and the unbalance of it all is just, I love it.
So it won Best Animated Feature. So it's an Oscar winner.
Wow.
It's one of the deeper Pixar movies, or any movie really. Very, very deep themes and very imaginative setting and story, I think.
Yeah, they took 7 years to develop it, I think.
Wow.
And so it's just one of those movies, and especially animated movies, that I can watch with my daughter, and I love it, and she also loves it.
Yeah, dude, it hits hard, especially with Inside Out 2. But that Riley character having a daughter, like it's very much a daughter centric movie, and it hits really hard. It's one of the few. If a movie can make me cry, that doesn't happen very often, and Inside Out does that twice, 2 different ways. So,
Is Steven Seagal in this?
No.
Then I haven't seen it.
Okay. Nope.
All right.
am I the only one that's seen all 50 of these movies? Ben, have you seen them all?
No.
Okay, so I'm the only one. that has seen every movie.
I think I've missed 7 or 8 or 9 of these movies. So there's a lot that I got to catch
Yes,
up on.
completionist. Woo!
I know.
There you go.
Okay. Making good time.
Yeah,
Making
we
good
did
time.
it.
We
Yeah,
didn't
we
get
did
any
it.
music.
Efficient.
We're under 20.
Yeah.
Or under 2 minutes every time.
All right. Very good. We're going to keep moving. We're going to move on to number 95. Number 95. That's going to be Zodiac. Zodiac. That is on Gris's list only. He's got it at number 19.
Guys, this is in my top 20, and I think it's one of the best performances on one of the most mysterious and ominous like subject matters of the Zodiac killer. I don't know why it's not on more people's list. I think it's underrated. I think it came out. You got Robert Downey Jr. and Jake Gyllenhaal just like acting their asses off, I think. And like the idea of serial killer that it's an unsolved mystery and they're trying to show you who it is without showing you who it is. So there's a little bit of mystery in there for you to kind of solve the case for yourself. And I love and respect a movie that makes you just like violently research more after you're done with it. And like
violent research.
Yeah, violent research. Yes.
Kind of weird.
So just like just
weird choice,
especially when it's about like a somewhat true event. And so they were trying to. I got super into like researching it and like reading more about it as soon as I got out of the theater. So I think that's something for a film to
I think
do.
for me, I recognize it as just a wonderful movie. I mean, Fincher films are. Yeah. It's rare that I don't like a Fincher film. And this is one of his most kind of stylish, sleek ones, and the acting's amazing. Ruffalo's great in it.
It's beautiful.
I will say that probably what doesn't elevate it to my top 100 is it's just not quite rewatchable for me. A lot of my top 100 is like a combination of the movie being great and rewatchable. And that one just doesn't hit me on the rewatchable part, but it's a great movie. I think you like it because it's kind of about watches too, a little bit.
If there is a Zodiac watch in there, that's true. That's true. That's true.
I agree with that take, Brian. First of all and foremost, though, Cox Alert, Brian Cox Alert.
Oh, he's in that?
Yeah. We've got a major Cox Alert happening here. Yeah, guys, really good movie. Atmospheric, tense, not in my top 100. Only have seen it once, but definitely very, very good. Frankly, though, I wouldn't put it in top 3 David Fincher movies. I would probably be like number 4. I'm putting Fight Club's ahead, 7's ahead. Probably The Game. I'd probably put ahead of it.
Yeah, Fight Club and 7.
This movie felt really.
I put Panic Room ahead of this too. I know that's a weird.
Zodiac long as fuck as well. Okay.
We did it.
How long will that music play before we?
We're gonna
for
test
3
it.
minutes.
Oh shit! Okay, so
all right,
the music will win every time.
Yeah, and it only gets louder.
So now we're at number 94, and this is the first film where it's on multiple lists. And that film, everyone, is the very, very incredible movie, Predator.
Yeah.
Predator. That's going to be on my list. That's going to be number 29. Grizz has got it squeaking in at 91.
I before you say what you're going to say, I will say I think this is the first movie that we've hit that it's probably on other people's top hundreds too. Like this is probably a common top 100 movie just for a lot of people. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
My first comment on this is this is filmmaking.
Yeah,
I think this is just a great movie. It's by
what's your director?
McTiernan. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So obviously it's going to probably rank highly for that. If I have any criticism about this film, it's that it's so much jungle. It's just all in the jungle all the time, and it gets a little fatiguing in that way. But damn, guys, the quotability of this movie is insane. The one-liners. You've got "stick around" after he throws the knife into the guy, Schwarzenegger. You've got "I ain't got time to bleed." You've got "get to the chopper."
The chopper.
You've got "if it bleeds, we can kill it." And you've also got "you're one ugly motherfucker." So anyways, Predator, great villain, just killing for sport, no remorse. And it's got all the cool tech and the cloaking. Just what a great movie. I had so much fun with this movie.
Yeah, this is one of the greatest examples with Alien also, is just how they hid the alien, the monster, the creature, the thing that's chasing them, killing them. They hid it for so long in this film, and I think that helped you just kind of drive with this movie, and you're just like waiting for the next thing. I think that's why it doesn't feel so boring when you're in the jungle for that long. So
it's a good monster movie for that reason. Yeah. It's because don't
all great monster movies
don't show your cards so early. Give it some mysterious and ominous sort of allure and
the alien tech with it.
And it's one of those monsters where you're just like, how the fuck is anyone going to be able to face this thing? It's like it didn't even need to have like the heat vision, and it was still more powerful than anything else. You know what I mean? Like it was. I love how they make this thing like unstoppable, kind of like the T-1000 a little bit in Terminator. Mm-hmm. And it's like, how in the hell are we gonna get through this? And I love movies that put you in that situation.
Yeah, for sure. Ben, do you like it?
You like it?
Ooh, we can layer sounds.
Yeah, of course we can.
Ben doesn't like it.
I like Alien better. I'm sorry.
That's fair. No, fair. I do too.
Mm-hmm. I do too.
All right, we're moving on to number 93. Number 93 is going to be The Sting. The Sting. This is only on one person's list. That person's name is Nick, and he ranked it number 19.
I'll tell you who else's list it's on. Look at those Academy Awards.
And it's 10 noms. 10 noms, including a win for Best Picture.
I can't believe I never heard of this movie.
7 wins.
And
You've
7
never heard of
wins.
Sting?
Never even heard of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So let me talk to you about it for just a second here, Gris.
Okay, please.
So
I'm going to sit back. The next
I think
3
this
movies I don't
I
have
think
on.
this is definitely one of the greatest movies of all time. It is so well written. If you just want to look at a movie that is written really, really well and paced really, really well, this is the one. It is one of the best screenplays I think ever written, and it is a lot of fun. It just from the very opening, there's this great sort of con that happens at the opening. It's a very classy movie. It uses title cards throughout, which is just really, really cool.
I love the title cards.
It's just classy
the
as
artwork on
fuck.
them. It's almost kind of like Norman Rockwell a little bit.
Yeah. It's got this great vibe. And
The Entertainer playing.
Yeah, The Entertainer, totally. And you got Paul Newman and Robert Redford, man.
Wow.
Just in the same movie. I mean,
70s?
what more
in
do
their
you want?
prime.
So
In
it
their
was
prime,
made in
yeah.
the 70s, but the time period of the movie is like 1933 or something like that.
Yeah. And I will say, in
gonna add to
terms
my list real
of
quick.
Newman and Redford movies, I think this is a much better film, and I will emphasize much better film than Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, which is a fine movie. I think I think that is an overrated film, though. This is the Paul Newman, Robert Redford film that you want to watch.
Paul Newman's eyes. Good God.
Dreamy.
I just rewatched The Sting this week, and I want those eyes. And I'll tell you this. This is a Mount Rushmore of twist endings, I think.
Great
for me.
ending.
I was shocked. I'd seen it before. I forgot about the twist ending.
Yep.
Like it completely blew me
Spoiler
away.
alert. Jeez.
Also, I think it would make a really great double feature with another movie on our list, Maverick. That's a spoiler too. And Maverick's in our top 50. So
you
come
gotta
back
wait for
and
that one.
About 2 years from now, we'll talk about Maverick. So yeah,
Unless
great
we go to
movie.
weekly.
1 year from now.
See?
Okay, we timed that one pretty good.
Yeah,
Perfect.
not bad.
Yeah,
We're pretty
all right.
good at this.
Let me speak in between real quick here. Don't time this one. I just wanted to say, since we just talked about a highly decorated movie, so that is tied with 2 other movies on this list with the most Oscar wins. We'll get there. I won't tell you what they are yet, but that ties with 2 others. It's not the most nominated, but it is tied with 2 others for the most wins. And since we're talking about that, I'm going to say this list is interesting. 31 out of these 50 have at least 1 Oscar nomination, and 20 out of 50 of them have at least 1 win.
Yeah, we got good taste.
We're not just like,
I think one of them was my favorite movie.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Spoiler. One of the 3 is your favorite. Yep.
Yeah.
So here's one that's got a lot of noms and wins. Schindler's List at number 92. So who's got this on the list? Well, it's our man MC Cullen. He's got it at 19.
Dang.
And this is the first movie that we've talked about on this list that if you go to Rotten Tomatoes and sort by top critics, 100%. A 100% rating with top critics.
Wow.
But yeah, 12 nominations. So this is the most nominated movie on the list, 7 wins. So it ties with The Sting. I didn't even know that before I put it on the list. Highly effective. Liam Neeson, Ralph Fiennes. How do you say that? Ben Kingsley. I mean, great cast.
Kingsley, yeah.
When Spielberg does dramatic, at least back in the 90s, not so much these days, but maybe 90s and 2000s.
Brian,
so good.
could you argue this is his best movie, maybe?
No, I would say Jurassic Park is better. I would say 2 of the 3 Indiana Joneses are better.
Okay.
More enjoyable. I would have them higher.
I was going to say high
I have all 3 of
enjoyability.
those I just mentioned higher on my list than this
Right.
one.
But this might be a better movie in that sense that the artistic craft.
Yeah, I will say Saving Private Ryan is a better movie.
Yeah.
But Schindler's List might be his second best movie. He just makes such fucking good movies.
Yeah.
So
There's a
Schindler's
reason
List.
he made a movie about himself.
And I had one note. It's impossible to not be affected by this movie. I mean, if you don't care about World War II, you don't care about the Holocaust or any of that stuff, you just watch the movie and you will. I mean, it just blows you away with the stories, and it's based on a true story. I mean, it's just it's a brilliant piece of filmmaking, and it's beautiful.
I agree.
Saw it too young to really appreciate it, honestly. Need to rewatch it. I know it'll be tough, but need to do that. Definitely always reminds me of that Seinfeld episode where Jerry makes out in the theater during the film and his parents are very offended. And the only other thing I'll say is I do remember, though, just once again, the choice to make this film in black and white, it's very powerful. And if you do that with the right movie, it works.
It's over 3 hours, and it's a kind of a slow movie, but it's every second is enjoyable and entertaining.
Yeah, I've not
You know
seen
what I mean?
it. I just started it last night, so
It's so not boring. Dang, I was just going to keep going and seeing how loud the music got. We'll get plenty of chances for that.
We got time.
We'll find a movie.
Number 91 is going to be The Last Black Man in San Francisco. And Ben, you're up because this is ranked 18 on your list.
I love this movie. I love the interstitial parts, the small characters that play a part in the whole story. I love Danny Glover's character. I love the fact that they skateboard everywhere. I love the commentary on the class system, and especially in San Francisco. It's beautifully shot.
That house is beautiful.
That house is beautiful. The way that he cares for that house is a beautiful love story. Everything about it is just very cinematic and beautiful, and I really care about this movie.
It made me sad that Jonathan Majors kind of got canceled because he was really good in this movie. I will say this is the only movie that I had not seen prior to planning this episode. So I watched it this week for the first time because I wanted, to complete all of them. And yeah, I agree with everything you just said. It didn't hit me probably as hard as it hit you, but the things you just said, I agree with them all. And yeah, very unique characters. I think my note I had in here was a very original tone and unique story.
Yeah. And I like having Mike Epps in the movie also brings an Indiana tie to it. And it's just, funny. It's really, it's a fun watch and an emotional watch too. Yeah. I just really care about that movie and love it.
I've not seen it. I mean, that's what's funny is I'll be curious to see how many viewers actually add movies from our discussion to their list to watch, their rewatch list. Yeah.
I mean, I think we did that for each other. So,
Yeah. Ben, I need to see it.
Yeah.
Sounds interesting.
It's a high recommend. I love that movie.
Yeah, I'll put it on the list. Okay, we're going to keep moving. We're at number 90. This one is Speed.
Here we go.
Speed. This is on two people's lists.
Hey, all right.
This is on old MC Cullo's list. It's also on Nick's list, squeaking in.
Hey.
Nice.
Brian, you got it at 21. I have it at 97.
Respectable.
I'll start here. Just a banger. This movie's a banger.
Yeah.
Dennis Hopper's so good. The chemistry between Keanu and Sandra Bullock is so good. And the chemistry between Keanu and Jeff Daniels is so good.
Yep.
So just great chemistry.
There's so much happening.
Really good action in this movie. Very practical action. Just excellent pacing and nice turns in this movie.
Yep.
Also, a quick note that Brian and I think we've checked this out. I think we were the only two people to actually see Speed 2 Cruise Control in the theater.
Right, correct. Yeah.
Right. It was just you and I.
Yeah, we weren't there at the same time, but we both.
Right. That was the cumulative worldwide box office total.
Was just like $22.
Was Brian and I.
$22 back in the 90s.
It just speaks to how good Speed was. I mean, we were 15 and we just needed more.
Yeah, we did. And the very last thing I'll say is this is a movie that I feel like is going to hold up for a long, long time. 20 years from now, 30 years from now. This is a movie that's just going to be a great action movie forever.
Yeah. It's so rewatchable. The saddest thing is watching an interview like 25 years, you might know this, Ben, but 25 years later, Keanu and Sandra did separate interviews where they both you see their realization that they both liked each other on set and never said it to each other. And it's the saddest thing you'll ever see in your life. I was like, that's the chemistry was real.
Chemistry was amazing.
That's amazing.
This is my wife's probably top 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Caitlin, hey.
Yeah, dude.
She loves this movie.
Great taste.
I love it.
Yeah, I love it too. Obviously, I love it. It's my 21st favorite movie of all time. I will say that when I think of action movies, this is usually about the first one that comes to my mind. It's Speed. It's just a pure, beautiful action movie. And I also say Jeff Daniels really nailed that deadpan humor.
How many Keanu movies do you have in your top 100? I'm starting to add them up now. I'm at 2.
How many? Yeah, just 2. I think.
Okay.
Are there more?
Nailed it.
We're going to find out.
We're going to 89. That's Godzilla -1.
Beautiful.
Gris, you are the lone person that has this on their list.
I'm surprised
Not even been the person that convinced me to go see this film. Holy
but Gris has it very high at 16.
Yeah,
16.
this movie, I cannot stand subtitles in films, and it not because I can't stand it. It's because it's really hard for me to focus on the film and the subtitles. But Ben convinced me to go see this movie, and I finally watched it, and it's just absolutely beautiful. It's brilliant. The storytelling, the characters, like the action, the monster of it, the visuals, all those things. Like it just adds up. And then I just recently went and saw it in black and white in theaters. And on second watch, it was even more brilliant. And so it pushed up on my list up to, what was it, 16? Is that what we said? So I highly recommend it to a lot of people. So.
It's amazing. It was one of the best movies of the year when it came out. And it's a masterclass in being extremely efficient with a small amount of resources. The budget for this movie, especially the visual effects, was like a tenth of what the budget is for like Marvel movies and stuff. And they're more effective and better in this movie to me.
Yeah, way more
effective. Dude, the effects in this movie were great. I don't know how they were able to do that on set. They were really, really good. I will say this movie's not probably even really near my top 100, but I would say it's also just a good movie. It's a movie I liked and thought was solid. Maybe in my top 250, maybe at the very end of that. Yeah, I liked it. Yeah.
I love that movie. I have watched every Godzilla movie. I'm not joking. I believe it. When my daughter was born, you have wake windows, and I watched a Godzilla movie every wake window almost, and it's the best. I would say it's probably second best Godzilla movie of all time. It's made by the Toho production company, which is the people who've made almost all the Godzilla movies, and it is incredible.
Mm-hmm. The story was great too. Loved it.
Yep. Moving right along, we're going to go to number 88, and that is Dumb and Dumber.
Beautiful.
That's on Nick's list.
Just Nick's list.
Number 16, just Nick's list.
Wow.
So I'll get it started. Funniest fucking movie ever made. And I don't flinch at all when I say that. Obviously, I saw this when I was 12 or something, so that made me appreciate it more. But Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels, once again, the chemistry, the way they play off each other, it's just it would make Laurel and Hardy jealous. Like, it is the best chemistry.
It's two completely different brands of humor coming together.
Yeah,
they're differently funny.
Yeah, they are. They complement each other just brilliantly, and there's just, once again, the quotability of this film is top 5 for me. I mean, it's up there near the top. I mean, I all the time I still say. He said, "Do you love me?" And she said, "But no, but that's a real nice ski mask." Say that one all the time. Sea bass, the best. Another quote: "Big gulps, huh?"
Obviously, big gulps.
Big gulps, huh? The gala, the tuxedos, the ending is like an homage to Die Hard, kind of the way it's just fucking brilliant. I love this movie so much. What do you guys think?
I literally had endlessly quotable and more laughs per minute than almost any other film I've ever seen.
I mean, the only thing I can say about it is just the mad respect that Jeff Daniels had for how aggressive he was to get this role and how much he wanted to get out of the drama acting that he was doing, and he wanted to take a shot at this.
I honestly don't know who's funnier in this movie between them.
That's the craziest part. And then Jim, I guess they shot. Did you guys know they shot a full week or 2 weeks with Jeff Daniels, and then it was just him. They didn't bring Jim in until later.
Wow.
And they tried to find a way to screen test him without letting him know that, hey, we don't have you in this role yet until you prove it. So Jim Carrey had to come in and kind of convince everybody.
Yeah,
so
I should have put that on my list.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it's okay, Ben. You can always amend.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I might.
Okay. Dumb and Dumber. We're going to keep moving. Cruising, if you will. 87 is what we're on next, and that is going to be Fight Club. Fight Club. This is on two people's lists. This is on Ben's list, pretty high, number 41. This is also on Nick's list at number 76. Ben, what do you think?
I love this movie. I think that it is one of those movies where you can watch it multiple times and catch new things every time you watch it. It's beautiful. I think it also inspired a generation. I feel like everyone in the early 2000s was talking about Fight Club, and everyone knows the rules.
That's right.
Don't talk about it.
Yeah.
You guys remember the preview for this movie? It was so stupid. It just was. It kind of talked about the only rule about Fight Club. It didn't sell the film for what it was, which was like this truly sort of brilliant societal commentary.
Yes.
This was my favorite movie like 20 years ago of all time. This would have been my number one movie. I think it just speaks very powerfully to sort of like young men, I guess, in a lot of ways, and especially those feelings of being sort of disenfranchised or kind of unsure of where you belong. This is a movie that really speaks to people that feel like that. A couple other things. Brad Pitt, so fucking cool in this movie. Max cool. Red leather jacket, so dope. So much smoking in this movie. The cigarette smoking.
Great smoking.
It just looks
slow
so great.
motion, high frame rate.
So, I mean, this makes me just want a cigarette right now. Ed Norton crushes it in this
Yeah, he
role.
does.
He just, the casting in this movie, everyone in this movie
Beautiful.
is perfect. Meatloaf, perfect.
Yeah, Meatloaf's
Everything's
great.
perfect. And the atmosphere of this movie is perfect. I think it's a great, great movie that has descended down my list of great films, but I still respect the shit out of it.
I think it's like most David Fincher movies. It could come out this year and it wouldn't miss a beat. I mean, it looks so
It's
good.
absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
I mean,
I didn't connect with it like thematically so much. Like, I was a young man when it came out. In
You had your
99.
life together.
destroy the.
I must have, but I didn't. I don't know. I didn't feel the need to be in some sort of like a fight club. I don't know. I think I was like the only guy who didn't feel that need.
Destruction of the man. Yeah. all
But
that.
I still recognize it as a great movie, although not connecting with it on that kind of heart level. So I respect it.
Okay. All right, we're going to keep going. 86. This is going to be Past Lives.
Oh.
Ben.
Ben is just
Jesus
Ben,
Christ.
I know,
Ben
Ben is
has
our
got-
snob.
I know.
He
fucking-
gives us so much
he is.
credence
He does.
with all these like highbrow
He
movies.
does.
I know.
And he's got
What
this
a
one
tool.
way up there. He's got this way up there at 16.
It is incredible,
So good.
guys. It
So
is
good.
so good. And like the whole like will he won't he like kind of feel to it at the end. You're literally just longing.
Yes,
like,
that's a great word.
You're wanting.
You're yearning.
like literally.
Oh, hey.
It's
Words.
such a good film for a romantic
Yeah.
film.
It
And-
kind of reminded me of In the Mood for Love a little bit in that
A
respect.
little bit,
like I
yeah.
feel like it just was so like just like pulled on your heartstrings.
You want him to like you want to like jump out of your seat and like tell him what to do.
Yeah.
And it is just such a good and the way they compose the shots, it's so beautiful. There's a scene where they're at the bar and she's in the middle and the two guys are on the outside and you're just kind of like, and they kind of just like pull back and it just is a beautiful film that it was well done and it's recent and it's one of my favorite films of that year and clearly one of my favorite films of all time.
I think performance is key here because when you read like on paper, it's just a movie about like almost like three people, and and it's like, okay, what? But then when you watch it, you're like, okay, this is a super emotionally powerful performance, even though it's such a simple story.
Yeah,
and so it just shows like filmmaking and performance go so far. Even if the story isn't necessarily the most compelling story of all time.
The acting is incredible. The characters are lovable. You want to root for all of them.
Yeah, you do.
And but you also understand the nuances of their relationships. They do such a great job of bringing everything into picture, and it's so good.
Is this on the Oscar talk for 2020?
Yeah, there's a reason I think it was. It had 2 nominations.
Okay.
I'm not sure if one of them was for Best Picture. I think it might have been one of the 10 Best Pictures, but definitely awards.
Okay.
Accolade.
I've not seen it yet, so I need to catch it.
It's amazing.
Something that's super weird. I literally just learned about this movie a few days ago, totally independent of the podcast. It was brought up to me by somebody. So I actually really want to see it.
Yeah.
And I'm really looking forward to seeing it. And I will probably watch this within the next week or two.
Nice.
Sorry, I talked into.
No, Ben, this is your movie. This was on your list, man.
I love it. I love this movie, and I'll defend it a lot.
I'm
really-
hyped to see it.
I have watched it several times, and every time I really enjoy it.
All right, we're on 85. This is a classy choice, guys.
Ooh, man.
85. How about The Sound of Music?
Sound of Music.
Man, makes it on to our top 100.
Wow.
And who's got this on
belongs
their
there.
list?
I haven't even
Well,
seen
Brian does.
You haven't seen it?
I've not seen
Me,
it.
me and you, brother.
Brian's got it at 49, and yes, I have got it at
You have it on your list?
66. That is correct.
Wow.
I'll get us started on this one. I don't like musicals. I don't like musicals. But this is a hell of a movie, and this is the best musical ever made. And I don't think it's really even close.
100%.
Wow.
The World War II backdrop is so perfect. It's so serious and foreboding. And yet you've got this balance with sort of this music and this optimism and this energy. And it just is really good and adds to the tension. And most musicals lack tension. And I think that's why I don't like musicals. There's no fucking tension. There's a lot of tension in this movie. The Nazis are coming, man. You're going to sing about it. So also,
Sing about it.
the performance is really good. Even if you hate musicals, you will maybe like this. I think you will like this movie.
You will.
This is the best Julie Andrews movie. It is better than Mary Poppins.
People don't watch this movie and
100%.
go, I don't like that.
Yeah, it is
It's-
just fucking great.
I had the VHS.
Yeah,
Wow.
It was
as
a
you
two,
should.
It was a 2
Nice.
VHS. and it
Oh,
was
yeah,
a
definitely a
huge
double.
container. Yeah,
Mhm.
and it was
Yeah, I
beautiful.
think for me, I just am a sucker for. We were just talking about this last night with movies like Groundhog Day and like A Christmas Carol. I'm a sucker for like a curmudgeon who breaks, a curmudgeon who sort of softens.
Yeah.
And the captain, what's his? Is it the cat? What's Von Trapp? Yeah, he
yeah.
he is so good and he's so stern, and just Julian just softens him up, and they both are so good for each other, and like. He just breaks, and it's just heartwarming. Ah, so good.
He breaks in the midst of this terrible thing
I know.
that's happening around.
It's a juxtaposition between horror and beauty. I mean, yeah.
And one of the most beautiful cinematic shots of all time.
Mhm.
Julie Andrews spinning around
Up on that mountain.
on the mountain.
Yeah,
Really.
the settings, it was just all so good. The kids are great too. I don't like kid actors, but like the kids were all great in this movie. Like they're
Yeah,
a
they
delight.
So good.
And the good singers.
yeah.
Like
yeah.
that's impressive.
The songs are good. They're
Yeah,
like
the songs are
legitimately
good.
catchy and good.
I learned Edelweiss on guitar after this movie to
That's
sing to
fun.
my daughter.
Still, like, is it do a deer?
Oh, yeah.
a
Yeah.
female deer. That's in my head like every day.
And what's the other famous song? These are a few of my favorite things.
These are-
Like
yeah,
everyone knows
gosh.
this, this stuff,
it's
man.
just good shit. Good shit. Okay. We just gushed about Sound of Music. I like that.
Yeah, I'm proud of us.
It's fun.
I'm proud of us
Proud
too.
to say it.
I gotta see it, guys.
So now we're moving on
Oh,
to
by the way,
84.
10
What?
nominations and 5 wins.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That one, by the way.
Beautiful.
Sorry, I wanted to
Jeez.
throw
Is
that
that-
out.
is that
one, is that one of the other two?
Yeah, it's got
No,
be, right?
so this had 5 wins.
Okay.
Schindler's List and The Sting had 7 wins.
Oh wow.
So there's another one that has 7 wins on this list. A couple with 6. This is in third
I know
place
what
with
it
5.
is.
I really got to watch
Yeah.
The Sting.
You do.
you really do.
Yeah.
You really do.
My God.
It's really that
Sound of
good.
Music.
Yeah, and Sound of Music is like, okay, all right.
84. It's Raising Arizona.
Beautiful.
Who put this on their list?
I did.
Brian has got it way up there.
Way up
Way up.
14.
14.
Damn, son.
Wow.
All right.
So you know how I said Dumb and Dumber might have the most laughs, one of the most laughs per minute. I think this one has just slightly edges it out for me. Every single thing everybody does or says in this movie is hilarious to me. John Goodman and the guy who plays his partner are hilarious. Obviously Nick Cage, stellar performance. Holly Hunter is phenomenal. And then that I love the villain in this movie. He barely speaks. He's always smoking that cigar. He's on that hog. He's got the guns, you know.
Yeah.
Just a caper. I mean, Coen Brothers movies are always, with maybe 1 or 2 exceptions, are just like, I'm usually all in on them. But I don't know who was better in this movie. There are so many good performances. You could even take Nick Cage out of the movie. I mean, I've got Nick Cage
dare
in
you say
Raising
that?
Arizona on the top of the stoplight right there.
I don't think you can see it.
You could probably not. In some episodes, I feel like maybe you could see up there, but you could almost even take him out of the movie, and it would still be so good because
Dang.
there's so
His
much good.
performance in it is
Yeah.
very good.
So
Yeah,
good.
he's great.
So good. So original. So yeah, and it has tons of heart. I mean, it kind of
of
goes
heart.
on
Totally.
deep
Yep.
themes. So
It's been way too long since I've seen it.
Same.
I really like it though. I remember being kind of a frustrating movie in some ways, and I feel like a lot of Coen movies are sort of frustrating in a good way. I mean that like in a good way. I do like this movie. I wouldn't put it in probably top 3 Coen brothers, to be honest with you though. Fargo better, Big Lebowski better.
Fargo's amazing.
I agree with.
I would say
I agree with one of those. Yeah.
Buster Scruggs I really loved.
Oh, I
quite
love
a
it.
bit.
that was
Yeah.
fun. Yeah.
I'd probably put that better, and maybe even Miller's Crossing. But this is a good movie, a very funny movie. Nick Cage, let's go.
Yeah, I
mean-
saw this way too young, so I can't give it as much appreciation as you
Just
guys
go
do,
back.
but
if
it's
you,
obvious.
If you haven't seen this movie, go on YouTube and watch the fight in the trailer.
It's so good. It's so good. Also, they used to play this movie on Comedy Central like 24/7 in like the late 90s.
I can see that,
So just
yeah.
a heads up on that.
Great movie.
Okay. 83. 83 is One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. This is on one person's list.
Damn, Gris
Guys,
is bringing us
Gris.
high.
I'm the
bro.
only one.
Gris,
Classing
yes.
up the joint
God,
over here.
Yeah,
guys.
lucky number 13. 9 noms for this one.
yeah.
How
5
many
wins.
wins? 5
5
wins.
wins.
That's
5
insane.
wins. So
Yeah,
this is
that's a lot of wins.
certified good film. Gris, talk to us about it.
Guys, this has been in my top 10 for a long time. It just edged out to 13 with a couple other films that came out in the last 5 to 10 years. But the performances and then just the subject matter and how intense it is, like I am engaged the whole way. And I was very young when I first watched this, and I was super engaged with it still. And then the ending is just like the most like unbelievable, powerful ending that I've seen in a film. So I think it holds up today. I really recommend it to a lot of people still.
I think it holds up, and it's. I think it's kind of rare that you get a movie that has both Best Actor and Best Actress win in the same movie. That means the performances shine. If you've got enough
it's
space
so
in the movie
strong.
for 2 people to win an Oscar for Best.
Yeah.
actor. So
I have not seen this since I was in high school, and I don't remember it very well, to be honest. But I remember the silent Indian guy, and I remember Jack Nicholson being great, and I remember being like an affecting movie. So it's something I should go back and rewatch. I'm sure it's very, very good and holds up. But yeah, only saw it once, and it was a long time ago. To number 82. Number 82 is going to be Unforgiven. This is on one person's list. His name is Nick, and it's ranked number 13. So he fucking likes this movie a lot.
Nick loves this movie.
This is the second best Western of all time for me. I have got a soft spot for Westerns, for sure. Part of the reason this movie is so great is the ending of this film is easily in my top 10 just endings of all time. It is the ultimate sort of revenge sort of fantasy. It's such a powerful sort of standoff with sort of this seemingly massively underpowered protagonist, right? That just somehow gets the job done in just this very gangster way. Gene Hackman is as Little Bill. He's just so good. And I like how he's sort of like sympathetic too. Like a lot of good villains are, kind of have that, draw a little bit of sympathy. And just once again, you've got such good dialogue in this movie. This movie is so well written. I'll give a couple of quick examples. A couple of my favorite lines. Gene Hackman, "You just shot an unarmed man." Well, he should have armed himself. He was going to decorate his saloon with my friend. So that's fucking badass. I also love, it's a hell of a thing killing a man. You take away everything he's got and everything he's going to have. It's just profound. There's just a lot of good laconic dialogue.
And it's like you don't realize that Clint Eastwood's character is, you think he's like a good guy.
You're right.
And his backstory is revealed and you're like, holy shit.
Killer of women and children
for this guy.
Yeah, this guy kills kids.
And it's like, what makes a man good or bad? This movie explores that almost more poignantly than most other films. And I think it's criminally unmentioned when we've talked about anti-heroes. This movie.
Yeah, William Money is one of the true anti-heroes.
It's very good.
I got to catch this on rewatch. I watched it when I was way too young.
So I originally falsely compared it to, not falsely, but I should not have compared it to Tombstone. When I watched it, I was thinking, I'm going to compare this to Tombstone. And you don't do that. And I think I said,
I feel like you've compared a few movies to Tombstone.
I shouldn't have compared this movie because it's not the same kind of movie at all. And so when I went back,
it's a Western,
totally different.
but that's the same. That's
and when I went
it.
back and rewatched it this week, I bumped my Letterboxd score up an entire star because it's a great movie.
It's a great movie. Yep.
Nailed it. Way to go, guys.
So we're on 81. 81's going to be Spider-Man Enter the Spider-Verse. Gris has got this at 12, and my only comment on this movie is nah.
12.
Whatever, dude.
Is impressive.
Yeah. This movie is beautiful. It
won
brilliant.
an Oscar.
It won the Oscar for Best Animated Film. I think the way they shot it, the way they created this animation style, the way the story's told through a new Spider-Man, if you will. Like, I know that the classic Spider-Man is just everybody knows it. So this is a different telling on a completely different, like, section of the world. I love this film. I think
it's beautiful.
The characters on it, the story of it, the coming of age, the building up and becoming something greater than yourself. It's so original. It's so entertaining.
Yeah. I didn't think I needed it.
Yeah. Nick,
I'm sure it's good. And I should watch it. I'm talking shit. I haven't seen it. It's probably good. I just don't like superhero movies. I'm sure it's good. I'm sure it's good.
I came into this going, do we really need another Spider-Man movie? And then I watched it and was like, fuck, we need to have Spider-Man movie.
I should watch it. I'm sure it's good.
It's one of the only Spider-Man movies you should watch.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. I trust you guys.
Yep. And the second one is even... It's just wild that it even touches.
Yeah, I would put both of these. I'd put this movie right under probably the Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. I'd put it right there with that in quality.
Yeah, which is a great movie. I do like that movie.
It's tough. I think
second to that.
I feel like they go above it. I know that's sacrilegious to say that, but I think it goes above those.
I would put that in the top 5 animated movies of all time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Like
high praise.
Yeah, it's right up there.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'll watch it. All right, we're at number 80. We've talked about 20 movies, or 19, I guess.
Hey, we're 2/5 of the way there.
We're moving. We're moving. Number 80 is going to be Sicario. And let's see. Sicario here is on Brian's list. It's way up there at number 12. Got 3 nominations. Brian, I'm going to start this one, though, and I'll be quick.
Go for it. Yeah.
This movie was not consistent enough to make my top 100, but it was not too far out. This is a really good movie, really tense movie. I love the beginning of this, but it doesn't fuck around for even 1 second.
Straight to it.
And the border crossing scene in this, just the perfection in cinema. The border crossing scene is so good. I've watched it a dozen times on YouTube. It's just so fucking good. Sequel sucks, strong cast, and I'm done.
Yeah, I will say, the bridge scene, the border scene,
So
one of the
good.
most tense.
The intensity is just
so serious. And I think what really enamors me to this movie is I'm a sucker for movies where you're sort of along for the ride, and you're just kind of discovering everything as the protagonist is discovering it. Of course, one of my favorite movies of all time, Matrix, is very much that. But give me a whoa. But I think with this, you're following along and you're finding out about this whole world, and it's just like overwhelming, and it's just a ride, and you don't know where you're going to go. And then fucking the Wolf, Benicio del Toro's character, he's on my Mount Rushmore of like baddest ass characters in a movie. Just like not like superheroes or whatever, but like just somebody that you don't fuck with. Like we talked about Boris the Blade a lot.
Just a bad motherfucker.
The Wolf is right there. I mean, he's scary. So I love the moral gray areas that it explores too. And then a great not cameo, but a great part from John Bernthal. And then
I love John Bernthal.
I forgot. Yeah.
But what's her name? What's John Krasinski's wife's name? I can't.
Emily Blunt.
Emily Blunt. Yeah, she was, I think, cast really, really well in this movie.
She looked just horrified by a lot of things. The whole film,
was
which
great.
helps you be part of the character of that. The audience. The only thing I can say is I recommended this. I watched it and then recommended it to my parents, and they watched it. And maybe the main reason why they don't want me to go to Mexico ever again. So
really, so very effective, huh?
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, timed it nice.
Can I get a? I just need a. Do you like it? It's just been too long.
Do you like it?
I love it.
And I'll tell you guys, I like this next film. It's number 79, and it's called Seven. Seven by the great David Fincher.
Yeah.
This one is on two people's lists. It's on Brian's list. It's on Nick's list. Brian's got it at 51. Nick's got it at 61. Brian, what do you think?
So this is we were talking about what movies, David Fincher movies, are better than Fight Club, or maybe it was Zodiac. It was Zodiac. And this is one I would put there. I think that just it's such a great crime drama. It's super dark. It's very effective in the way, and I feel like it literally could have been made today. Again, it's beautifully shot.
Definitely.
That Fincher twist. He loves a twist. It's got that classic Fincher twist at the end. And I won't say anything just in case you haven't seen it, but I will say Seven is probably my top one or two David Fincher movies. So good. I know that's kind of generic statements. I just love the movie start to finish. It does nothing wrong.
Yeah.
I think this is as atmospheric as a film that has ever been made. The habitual rain, the rain until the final scene, which is so appropriate that it stops raining.
When they're under
just
the power
fucking
lines.
Brilliant.
The power line scene is incredible.
So good. What a great example of a villain who you just don't see until like the very end. But somehow yet kills it with the performance. Kind of like a Hannibal Lecter style, like only on screen for 10 minutes or 15 minutes or something, and just is still just so affecting. I would say Brad Pitt is really good in this movie, but frankly, kind of if I had to pick a weak point, I would kind of pick him. His character is it's just not as interesting as the other characters. And then Brian,
I feel like that's on purpose, though. Like,
and I don't even know if it's
to have
even
a payoff
knock.
at the end.
I don't even know if it's
Yeah.
a knock. It's just the other characters are just so good that his character is just a little flat. But he plays it fine. And then, the end. I mean, it's too bad it's such a cliche.
I love detective movies, and this one's just a notch above most detective movies I've seen.
Exactly.
I mean, you're discovering this shocking world and how deep it goes, and it's just like you're along for the
and
ride.
just a brilliant, simple device to make the whole premise. It's just fucking
It's horrifying.
smart,
But I mean, a lot of props goes to Fincher. So.
Fincher's amazing. Is Fincher the most represented director so far on our list?
So far.
I don't know.
I think.
Are we four middle-aged white guys? Is that what's happening here?
What's happening? 78. We're moving on to 78. The Nice Guys.
That's a fun one.
The Nice Guys. Let's see here.
I hope you
This
think
is
it's a
on-
fun one because you're on your list.
Yeah, Ben has got it almost in his top 10 at number 11.
Man.
I love that one.
All I'm going to say, Ben, about this one is this is kind of a really for me. Kind of barely remember it. Just didn't
The
do a
Nice
lot for me.
Guys?
Yeah,
I've not seen it, so I have no idea.
You haven't watched The Nice Guys.
No, I watched it. It was okay.
Sell it to me. I haven't seen it.
So, okay, the whole premise of the movie is that there are two investigators that are trying to investigate a murder of a porn star, and the investigators are played by
Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe, and they are hilarious. Ryan Gosling's timing in the movie is so funny. I love every part of the movie. I love their relationship with the daughter, and I love how much they how you don't see what's coming, and it's just a really fun, like entertaining movie.
Yeah, I have to say this is the movie I have the least amount to say on this list. So all I'll say is it was an enjoyable movie. Maybe I should rewatch it. I gave it 3.5 out of 5 on Letterboxd. So I don't know.
That's fine.
I will rewatch it every
It's a good
time.
movie.
Yeah, I've rewatched it several times. I didn't realize it was not on any of your lists.
Nada.
Well, that was fun.
I gotta watch it. I haven't seen it, so maybe it isn't. Maybe it's
What a fun minute and a half we had.
It's one outside of your top 10. So
Yeah.
I mean, there's something.
I really enjoy it.
something
It's
for
on
you.
my top 4 in the on my Letterboxd.
So now we're getting to number 77. And that's going to be a banger. It's called The Rock. Nick's got it on his list. It's at 26. Gris has got it on his list.
Hell yeah, I do.
84. Got one nomination for what? Just being fucking awesome?
The awesome nom. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't put if they were only nominated, I didn't do the work of putting what they were. I only put what they won. So
This
it was
movie has-
nominated for something.
I mean, this movie has two of my favorite things. It's Nick Cage in the 90s and Alcatraz. Anything to do with Alcatraz, I'm in. So
Yeah, I think this is truly one of the great 90s action films. It is so much fun. It's a movie that feels really long, but in the best way possible. It feels long like an episode of Seinfeld feels long. A ton of things happen in a very short amount of time. So much happens. Like, this is the same movie where the Hummer chase through San Francisco happens, right? And like Sean Connery escapes the hotel, and then we've got the whole Alcatraz, not even to Alcatraz yet. Like, just a lot happens in this movie. And it's a very efficient movie, even being kind of a long movie. It's peak old man Connery.
Peak.
And the music is slamming the soundtrack.
Another Hans Zimmer.
Another Hans Zimmer
It's
banger.
fun. You know what it was? It won for best sound mixing.
I was going to say, I knew it was sound something. I knew it was sound something.
Yeah, the sound.
Who
Yeah,
was
great
who was
sound.
remind me of the director on this one, guys.
Michael Bay.
Your boy.
Do you think he's so excited about that Oscar win?
I mean, probably.
Well, he didn't win that
Probably.
Oscar. It was for sound editing. He didn't do shit. I will say The Rock is if we were doing a list of rewatchables or enjoyables, this is high for
Yeah,
me.
totally.
And name it. We were just talking about Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling, which is a great duo. But
Love them.
But name a better duo than Sean Connery and Nick Cage. I mean, that is
Yeah.
They
awesome.
play off each other
All
so
time.
well.
And Nick
Yeah.
Cage,
Cool,
almost
calm,
everything
collected
he
versus
says in
high
this
strung.
movie is quotable. He
Yeah.
is so
Yeah.
let's
So quotable.
cut the chit chat.
Yeah.
A-hole. Carla was the prom queen. Like you could,
Yeah. So good. Nailed it. Perfect, guys.
Perfect.
All right, we're at 76. 76 is going to be Halloween. Halloween. This is on how many people's list? Well, just one. It's on Nick's list.
we're
and it's
to
at-
the top 10.
and it's at number 9.
This is our first
Ooh.
movie
and this is
inside
the
someone's
first
top
one
10.
that I'm super, super disappointed is on no one else's list. Like, do you guys like horror movies? Like,
Yes.
this is the best one.
I put Midsummer.
This is the best horror movie ever made. It is the best horror villain. Just the no talking, the Michael Myers, the ominous nature. It's just it's perfect. Just perfect.
It has
peak
the
horror
best
for me.
vibes.
It
It's
has
the
the
best
best
it's the
vibes.
best Halloween.
It's only on
movie.
Nick's
and let
list.
me-
Yeah.
Let me say what I think is the most brilliant thing about this movie. The way the killer is like always just off camera, right? You never know quite where he is. Plus, you never know if what you're seeing is what the killer is seeing, or maybe it's just what the camera is seeing, or maybe another character. But this movie, the way it just kind of rotates from like Michael Myers' point of view to the camera's point of view to it just keeps you on your toes so much, and I love how it plays with you. And I just want to I like it. I like it very much. And I just want to point out also that this movie, I mean, there's like very little violence and killing in this movie. 5 people are killed, only 4 as like adult Michael Myers, right? So, and there's very little blood, but there's so much terror. And I just think this movie is the best horror movie ever made. And I also love The Thing and think that is a way up there too in terms of Carpenter films. But this movie, yeah, the best horror.
It doesn't
movie.
do quite enough to be peak horror for me. Like
Yeah.
Midsummer is doing so much more as a horror movie. You look at a movie like Alien, and you've got the whole sci-fi
Yeah,
infused
physically,
part.
psychologically with Midsummer, and then just horrifically with Alien.
There's other horror movies that are better. This is the most like pure, I'd say, in the most pure form, and I really respect for that. But just doesn't do enough to get it up there for me. Even a horror movie like Bone Tomahawk, it's got all the dialogue and all the beautiful characters that are like carrying it along and stuff. That just so there's nothing to me that pushes it up into like that next tier.
So
but I totally hear where you're coming from.
It invented a subgenre of horror. Like it completely
I feel
invented
like
one. The slasher genre is due to this film.
I actually wrote
Yes,
this down. I
100%.
literally wrote down, quote, classic horror. Like, what is that exactly? Like, this represents classic horror. So what do you think that means when it comes to this movie? Like, what is classic horror? Slow, mundane? Like, I don't know. I just feel like it's not as intense as what we get today.
just sort of terror, brooding, dreadfulness. You know, this movie does all those things perfectly well. So brilliant film.
Yeah, I agreed.
We're on number 75. And this one is going to be Blade Runner 2049.
Another
Guys.
Denis Villeneuve, second one.
Guys.
Yes, and this is on one person's list, and it's in Gris's top 10. He's got a number, what is that, 8? Number 8?
Wow.
Guys,
Hey.
I remember seeing this, and I saw the first Blade Runner. I get the hype around it. I get people's excitement around, but I just don't get the hype. I just was not a fan of the first Blade Runner. But this one, I went and saw it in IMAX, and I have not stopped thinking about it since. I think Denis is just the top director. This, the last 10,
Genre.
15, 20 years.
He's never done anything that's not superb.
And this movie, I don't know why, like, people just completely ignore it for the first one for some odd reason from the super fans, at least in my view. And so I think it's really hard for me to like watch this and be like, God, it's just such a beautiful film. Like the twist, the turn, like all this stuff. Like, I mean, Harrison Ford coming back and just playing that role again was just magnificent.
If you can be innovative with your visual effects in modern day movies, that means you're really doing something special. And Blade Runner 2049 did a bunch of stuff that had not been done before visually. I'm going to say it's a rare example of a sequel living up to the hype of the original. I'm not going to say it's a better movie than Blade Runner. I think Blade Runner was more influential and more important and holds up surprisingly well and is I'm not going to say better, but I'll stand by that this is a worthy successor to that as a sequel. Yeah. And that's high
that's coming
praise.
from you. That's big praise. Yeah.
1, 2, 3. First or best Denis Villeneuve film. 1, 2, 3.
No Country? No.
What?
That's not him.
I'm going to go
Dune, isn't he? Didn't he do Dune, right?
Dune 1 and 2 are great.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Sicario.
Sicario. All right. Yeah. All right. Well, we
Arrival.
killed that.
Arrival, maybe.
Rival's strong.
Arrival's
Yeah,
strong.
that's a good one.
Dune 2 is like
Prisoners, maybe 3
Yeah.
for me. The Dunes, though. Gosh, dang, he's so good. You're so good, Denis. Incendies is great.
Yeah.
Polytechnique is great. Enemy, maybe his weakest, but like fucking still amazing.
Yeah.
He does not put out bad movies.
He doesn't.
He doesn't.
Putting this above the OG director's cut of Blade Runner is a little bit sacrilegious. Okay, I'm done.
I didn't
Which one's
put
the director's cut? Which one's that again? Is that
Original
the
film director's cut.
Please note that I did not put it above. I said it was a worthy successor.
I cut off the music.
Which one should I be watching next time I watch Blade Runner? The first?
director's cut.
Director's cut?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Okay, number 74 is going to be The Godfather Part 2. I already brought this up in the icebreaker. Guys, seriously, no one else's top 100. This is in my top 100. It's number 7. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. I like it. So I just think you're nuts if you can name 100 better movies than this. I mean, Blade Runner 2049, nice guys. That's better than Godfather 2. Come on.
Yeah.
I'm basically offended. Anyways, I think this movie is slightly worse than Godfather 1. However, I ranked it number 7 all time. I will say I think the sequence of the assassination of Don Fanucci in this film is one of the great sequences in movie history. I think it's probably top 3 or maybe 5. So that alone is kind of what elevates this movie for me. But yeah, guys, I want to hear why this didn't make the top 100.
Well, similarly with Zodiac, I recognize that this movie is amazing. It's probably better than a lot of movies in my top 100, but it's not in my top 100 favorite movies of all time, which is what this list is. It's not my top 100. I recognize these movies are the 100 best made movies of all time. It's my probably 60% critic, 40% enjoyability. And like I said with Zodiac, I just don't find myself rewatching it. I will say that, like I said, it is admittedly better than a lot of movies in my top 100, but it just doesn't make the cut because I just don't revisit it. But it's an amazing movie.
Yeah, I have a hard time with it because I watched 1, 2, and 3 after so many people for so long told me that I need to watch these films. I watched 1, 2, 3 back to back to back, and I have a really hard time remembering what exactly am I remembering and favoriting.
Yeah, I can
from
say 1 and 2
2,
overlap
3.
a lot. Yeah,
1 and 2 for sure. 3 that is a hit or miss. But I do recall scenes from that where I'm like, I just can't remember enough. So I need to go back and watch them one by one. So
Yeah.
I will say that the fact that it holds up, kind of like the last one we talked about, Blade Runner 2049, the fact that it holds up and is, I think, slightly better than what is universally agreed as one of the best movies ever made, The Godfather, means it belongs on this list. And I'm glad somebody took a spot on their list to put this fucking movie on there so that we have collective clout, even though I didn't have to sacrifice a slot. Thank you, Nick, for doing that for the room.
And thank you, Brian. Thank you, Brian. Thank you.
Yeah. I just was really calling your bluff on the fact that it got louder, and it sure did.
It does. It does get a lot louder.
Yeah. Good.
I went.
But in all honesty, in another universe, this is in my top 20. You know what I mean? Like it's hard. It's really hard to measure.
So we're on to 73. That's going to be the film Fury, which is apparently better than Godfather 2.
Now everything is
I'm sorry. I'll stop.
No, we're doing Reagan again.
No, I like it. Keep it up. Keep going.
That's on two people's lists. It's on Gris's list and Ben's list. Gris has got it at 20, and Ben's got it at 88. Let's go, guys. Talk about it.
I mean, this movie's so strong. Again, talking about movies that take place in such a small space. Like, I know they kind of ramp around a few places, but these group of guys, I feel like every one of them plays up to like an unbelievably acting. Like, their acting is just unbelievable. And so all of them playing on that level in this small space, like, you can feel the intensity. You can feel how like romantic they are about like this being their home, their purpose, their drive, like all those things. And at the end, when they make that choice, they're going to stand their ground. It's just oh my God, this movie is just so.
The final scene is one of the best like war scenes of all time.
I never expected it to go that intense. I just thought it was going to be, kind of a shootout and then be done, but it just goes on.
It goes on and on. Yeah. And then a lot of method acting with with Sheila Booth. Yeah,
Sheila Booth.
He stayed in character, apparently offset.
Yeah.
And it's a really fun watch.
Yeah, the little cut on his face was when he was in that gunner position, wherever his position in the tank was.
Yeah.
He bonked his face on testing. Like, he just kind of hit his cheek and he just continued to cut that spot manually on his face. So it looked like he was in that spot for.
I just want to ask the two of you a question.
Yeah.
And I already know the answer.
Of course he does.
Is this movie better than Saving Private Ryan? Because you both listed it higher than Saving Private Ryan.
I do believe it is. In my personal opinion, I do believe it is better. I think
is that objectively wrong?
Objectively, sure. Personally, no.
I want to list 7 World War II movies that are better than this movie: Saving Private Ryan, Inglourious Basterds, Dirty Dozen, The Pianist, Schindler's List, Bridge on the River Kwai, Boy in the Striped Pajamas.
I haven't seen Boy in the Striped Pajamas, but I agree with all the other ones you just said.
But it's hard to be like,
if I didn't put it in my top 100, then my wife would kill me.
It's hard to just be like, like World War II movies. This is just an intense, like, intimate movie.
I gotta say, some of these sting because, like I said, at least Saving Private Ryan is better collectively. So we're good. I keep forgetting this is a so we're good. We're good.
Yeah.
Okay.
You guys are wrong, but luckily Nick and I
expect Fury to be the one that ran over.
Fury's the one that gets us. Yeah.
All right, we're going to 72. It's a Wonderful Life. Fuck, guys. Fuck is all I can say on this one. This is what I should have said instead of Godfather 2. This isn't on anyone else's list.
Who is on this?
Hey, Nick.
Me.
Hey, Nick. I haven't seen it.
Nick, I hate this movie so much.
It's number 6.
I love this movie.
It's the 6th best movie ever made. You guys are killing me here. Yeah. Guys, there's 100 better movies than this.
I feel bad that I've not seen it, but I need to.
There's 100 better movies than this. Okay. This movie renews my faith in humanity every time I watch it.
That's what I had in my notes.
It's because it does. It's universal, man.
It's a movie you should think about whenever the world seems hopeless.
Yes, because that is the perfect movie for that. And this is a movie, and I have to admit, I probably, frankly, I've probably seen this movie more than any other movie ever made because I watch it every single year. I watch it on Christmas every single year. I've seen it at least 30 times. More than that. Here's another fun fact. All the snow in this movie, a lot of snow. It's probably all asbestos.
Asbestos, for sure.
Yeah. So anyways, that sucks. But man, this movie is just an emotional roller coaster. The themes are so heavy for a film that's kind of like a family. I guess it's kind of before ratings probably, but this wasn't like a R-rated kind of movie. And the themes of suicide and death and kind of worthlessness but also just redemption and. I mean, it's just a powerful, powerful movie, and I will never. This movie will always be in my top 10, no matter what.
I know the moon quote vivid. Like I just know that quote and how strong it is, and I think that's powerful. I've seen that scene a million times, but I need to see the movie to understand the weight of it in context.
Yeah. Watch the movie, please.
Yeah.
No one else. Come on,
we got Brian.
Someone say something good about this movie, please.
I love this movie.
But I
absolutely love this movie. It's maybe my second favorite Christmas movie. And Jimmy Stewart's great. The movie does nothing wrong. It's super powerful and profound. It would be in my top 200 for sure.
Yeah, it's number 101 for you, right?
Yeah, well,
wow,
maybe 150, 160.
All right.
It might be in my top 500.
It's a
top 500. Damn.
It's a 4.5 out of 5 on Letterboxd for me.
All right.
How is that? I gave you 4.5.
No,
out of
I know.
5
I'm not mad at you, Brian. I'm not mad.
I'm with you, dude. It's a great
We're
movie.
just mad at the room. All right.
Negative energy.
We're gonna keep moving on. We're gonna go to a film that's called Snatch, and it's on two people's lists.
Mm-hmm.
It's on my list, number 37. It's on Brian's list because he's got great taste. Number 70.
Hell yeah.
And I'll get us started here. I just rewatched this movie like 2 weeks ago, and just so fun. It just holds up. It's so great. It's insanely frenetic. The camera work, the wacky shots, the crazy cuts, the overcrank, the slow-mo. It's all, somehow it works. It shouldn't work, but it works. The accents, amazing. Brad Pitt as Mickey the Pikey, maybe his best role ever. Watching it with subtitles, always satisfying.
Agree.
Bullet Tooth Tony, fucking Boris the Blade, two of the most epic sub-characters in the history of film. All the sub-characters in this movie are so memorable. There's so many of them, and I just don't know how they even did that. They're just... The music, it's excellent. The cast is excellent. The ending, predictable, but great. God, I just really like this movie.
The movie is hilarious. It has 4 of the... Remember we were talking about the wolf in Sicario, Benicio del Toro? This movie has 4 of the most absolute badasses ever put to screen, right? It's got Mickey, the fucking crazy pikey. It's got fucking Bullet Tooth Tony, who you just talked about. That's a Desert Eagle 0.50, you know, that whole scene. It's got Boris the Blade, unkillable. It's got Bricktop. All 4 of those guys are fucking legends. They're all they're not even the main characters of the movie. It's so good, so rewatchable, and I love movies where it tells stories from different points of view and they all converge at one point in the movie. Brilliant. Guy Ritchie, by far Guy Ritchie's best movie.
For
endlessly rewatchable. I could go on and on and on. It's so good. Jason Statham and Jason Statham's not even one of those 4 badasses,
right?
And he's like a badass these days. So it's like what the hell?
And how fucking good is the opening of this movie where they're tracking the security cameras, like sort of the robbery that's about to happen at the Diamond Emporium or whatever. It's just so good.
Anytime Dennis Farina takes that shot and gets on that plane and it takes off, like it's just the movie is so frenetic and so quick, but not like overwhelming. And the music's really good.
Music is really good. Yeah,
I should have put that in my top 100.
Yeah, you should.
I gotta give it a rewatch. I've only seen this like once, and it was usually on cable.
It's like a gym. It's like when I think it's kind of like I get like when I think of like Starship Troopers or Speed or Snatch. It's like these movies that like kind of made me who I am. Snatch is one of the movies that was
formative.
It's like a building block. If I was made of Legos, it would be like a brick of Lego in me.
I think I watched that 100 times in college.
Yeah, me too.
So good. Better than Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
Yes.
I know that's controversial.
Not for me, but
I think so.
I'm not even mad at that.
Yeah.
We're on to number 70. It's called In the Mood for Love, and we're going to have Ben fill us in because for
Ben
him...
classing it up again.
Ben is classing it up.
Why did you guys not pick Brian?
He's got it at number... Ben's got it at number 6, so we're ready to hear all about it.
Okay.
It is one of the most beautiful films ever shot. It looks like a period piece and it was shot in 2002, 2, somewhere in there. Anyway, it's a lot like Past Lives, where there's a will they, won't they kind of thing. They're just constantly talking, heavy on dialogue, but very beautiful, well written dialogue. It just is a perfect film from start to finish. I could rewatch it 1,000 times, and every time see new things about it. And it's Criterion Collection. It's 4K release, so it's even more beautiful. So
I only disagree with one thing you said, and that's I could rewatch it 100 times. I've seen it twice. Both times I loved it. But again, if I was making a list of the 100 best movies of all time, this would probably be like 48. I mean, it'd be really high on that list. But this isn't that list. This is my top 100 movies, and I'm not going to revisit it very often because it's like I got what I needed out of it, and for some reason I just don't
that.
like. But it is a wonderful movie.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not you don't see movies made better than this very often.
Right. And I understand that it's not everyone's cup of tea, but like I do enjoy it. I think that it's worth watching.
It's a little slow for me. But
I understand
I'm not taking anything away from the movie for that. It's just not very watchable.
Yeah.
Haven't seen it. Want to see it? Okay.
Yeah, definitely watch it. I completely respect it being number 6 on your list, and I wholeheartedly am behind that. Thank you for using one of your slots on In the Mood for Love, so I didn't have to. Thank you, Ben.
You're welcome.
I got to put Clueless on my list.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
It's true.
Thank you.
So it's number 69.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
Fave.
wait.
Escape.
Why wasn't
Escape.
this like a sexy movie, damn it?
It is sexy. What are you
It's
talking
sexy
about?
in its own way.
What are you talking about?
It's Escape from Alcatraz.
This movie is beautiful.
Oh,
and it's on
Gris.
one person's list, and that is Grizz, and he's got it. Is that right? Top 5? Number
top five.
5. Number
Top
5 of
five.
all
This movie
time.
has floated in my top 5 for damn near my entire life. My uncle got me into this old ass movie when I was super young, and I was just like enthralled. I was just so intrigued by it. This probably is why I'm addicted to like Alcatraz facts and like the idea of like the prison and the history behind it. And Clint Eastwood, fuck, that guy could just stare through your soul. And I think this movie, he does it. And he just like, he knows what he wants. He wants to get out of this prison. He's going to do anything he can to get out of there. And I think just wildly intrigued by how he does it, how he grabs all the guys around him to do it with him. And this movie's just beautiful.
One of the best prison movies of all time, and that's saying a lot because I love a lot. I mean, prison movies are kind of one of my favorite genres, and there's so many good ones. So that's high praise for me to say.
Yeah, I thought about putting this on my list, but I've only seen it actually one time.
Same.
And I really, really liked
Guys,
it.
you got to rewatch it.
Yeah, it's worth a rewatch for sure.
Fun fact about this one, Danny Glover's first film.
Oh, cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Playing Framed with Ben. If nobody knows what that is, framed.wtf. Is that what it is? It's like an online game where you just guess a movie by just one frame of the film. I think early on when Ben and I started playing this, it was just a picture of the grates that he cuts around in Escape from Alcatraz. I knew exactly what it was. I knew the grates. I knew the paint, the layers of paint. I was like,
Nice.
I know what movie this is.
Yeah.
It's so sad. I've seen it so many times.
Yeah, good movie. Okay,
Another Clint Eastwood coming up here.
68.
Ooh,
Yes, that's right.
Dang.
The good, the bad, and the ugly. And let me tell you what's ugly here, guys. Let me tell you what's real ugly. This is only on one person's list, and his name is Nick, a film genius who put it in his top 5. At number 5. As I said a little while ago, big soft spot for Westerns. This is the best one of all time.
Yep.
I think the whole Man with No Name trilogy is exceptional. I think Fistful of Dollars and A Few Dollars More are both very good. I don't think either are as good as this. This one kind of just brings it all together. I think Ennio Morricone, I'm not quite sure how to say his name. The composer of this, probably the best film composer of all time. And this movie is just a peak example of his work. I will also say, Clint Eastwood's obviously great in this movie, but Eli Wallach and Lee Van Cleef, sort of the ugly and the bad, respectively, are just so good in this movie.
Yeah, they all complement each other so well.
They complement each other so well. The other thing I'll say is the way this film is shot and the pacing, it definitely just heavily influenced a lot of the movies we all in this room really
You
like.
know Tarantino heavily watched this.
Tarantino heavily influenced for sure. The way it just has such balls. This movie has big balls. The way it just holds shots for an inordinate amount of time, the way it uses those ultra close-ups and contradicts those with those massive wide shots. The movie is just just gorgeous. It's beautiful to watch. And the ending of this film is just chef's kiss.
That was my comment.
I love everything.
Ending.
This is my 5th best movie of all time. I mean, it's a perfect movie more or less for me.
I'm really sad this is not on my list, and I regret not adding it to it, so it may make its way back onto the list. But this is one that I watched really early on. My uncle got me into these old Westerns and this is easily the best I think that I've seen. So
It's not my favorite Western. It's in my top 5 for sure, and it is the culmination of one of the greatest trilogies ever put to film.
Yep.
All right. 67, When Harry Met Sally.
Oh my god.
This one is on one person's list.
one person's list.
His name is Ben.
How do you all not put this on your list?
Granted, I had
Well, we're
not
gonna
seen
talk
it.
about it.
I had
It's-
not
it's-
seen it until after I made this list.
Okay.
It's number 5 for Ben. So
Yes.
it's way up there.
It is the best romantic comedy of all time. This is Billy Crystal's best movie of all time. I stand by that fact.
Yeah.
He is his timing, his comedy, everything, the beauty of the dialogue. The dialogue alone is worth just studying.
Yeah, very, very good dialogue.
It's so punchy and
It's
efficient.
so punchy, and and the scene where he's talking to his best friend in the Jets game, and he's talking about how his wife cheated on him.
They have to do the wave, right?
And they
when
have to
they're
do the
talking?
wave, and
Yeah.
the entire time he's devastated, but he still does the wave.
Yeah.
It kills me every
It's
time.
Rob Reiner, right?
Rob Reiner.
Oh,
yeah.
it's so good.
yeah.
It is incredible. I will rewatch this film 1,000 times.
I mean, how hot is the diner scene too?
Oh my God,
good
the
It's one of the,
diner
the
scene.
most iconic scenes in
My
the history
God.
of film.
Yeah.
One of the most iconic scenes of all time is in that film, and
Scene gets me hot and bothered.
I love
Orgasm scene in a diner. Come on.
Yeah.
I love every part of it. Classic New York, like one of the most
Yeah.
beautiful New York films of all time. You get New York in the fall in Central Park,
beautiful.
and it is beautiful, and it is. Yeah, I stand by every part of that.
What I'm going to latch onto of all the things you just said is what I want to amplify is one of the best. You said the best. I'm going to say one of the best, maybe the best romantic comedies of all time for
Yeah.
sure. I'm gonna,
Yeah.
I'll give it that for sure.
Yeah.
Not the best, but it's one of. Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think is better?
I mean, I like Annie Hall is a good one. I need to think about that a little bit more.
Yeah.
I think Match Point, but that's more of a thriller. So
I like Serendipity with Kate Beckinsale.
Okay.
Yeah. I gotta.
John
Ben,
Cusack.
you've told me about this movie
I'll-
so many times.
I'll
and
put High Fidelity above Harry Met Sally.
Katie finally had me watch it this fall, which was
Yeah.
perfect timing. And
Yeah.
just watching that film and her suggesting it, thanks to the
I
Popcorn
say-
People coined term from her.
Hell yeah, Katie.
So-
Where's Katie?
Yeah. Katie, come on.
I don't know.
Katie!
We're waiting.
Where are you at?
This movie is it's it's so good. The
I'll say-
dialogue is what I gets me.
I say "Papa" all the time.
Yeah,
Okay.
dialogue. That movie's so good.
We're now on number 66. That's a film called Parasite. This one's on Ben's list.
Fuck,
Only.
guys, come
6
on.
nominations, 4 wins, Best
Come
Picture.
on.
Ben-
This is highly decorated.
This
This,
is
one.
Ben's
such
got
a
it.
good movie.
At number Trace. So, wow.
No.
The cinematography alone. So I went into this movie blind, and I watched it, and Kate didn't understand that it was going to be all subtitled.
Gross.
And I was like, oh no, she's not going to like it. By the end of it, she loved it. I'm telling you, it's one of the best cinematography movies that you can
It's so
watch.
intentional.
All right.
It's a masterclass.
I'm going to cut you off right there. I'm going to have a hard time. You've told me about this movie for what, 5 years?
5
6
years. Yes.
So the hardest thing is like you talk about the cinematography, but then it's also subtitled. So I'm going to be like watching and going like, this is my biggest gripe with any.
Yeah, but you can't take away from the
Yeah.
movie for
I know
that
that's,
because
but I have to from.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't not
For
take away from it.
enjoyment. I understand.
Yeah,
that.
then
So, like-
watch it once with the subtitles and then watch it a second time with
Right,
English
that's what I'm
dubbed.
wondering.
with
Yes,
the- with
that's
the thing.
yeah.
Because Ben is absolutely right. The cinematography
Yeah.
it's a clinic
Yeah.
on how
Yeah.
to frame.
That's what's interesting
there's
about
so many-
what's the Godzilla minus one. I could watch that movie with 0 lines of dialogue spelled out to me and still understand every note that was felt through the acting.
Yeah.
Do you think that in this film as well?
Yes,
okay.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is a commentary on class, and it is beautiful. It is well written.
It has a lot of SDTs as well.
A lot of show don't
tell.
It is one of those
Respect
movies
that.
that I could watch over and over again and love every time.
And I'll add this: of all the movies on this that we've talked about that aren't in my top 100, this one is probably 101.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
this is battling for my last spot for sure.
I really appreciate this movie. I think it's beautiful. I think it's well written. I love the characters. I love the acting. Everything about it.
It's gonna look at Ben put the call sound
Dude, you
on
just
himself.
you played your own self out. I respect this man over here.
That was awesome.
He could have let his timer
Push
go
the
an
button
extra
as he's
minute.
talking. And
He on his number 3 movie.
I love that movie.
Oh shit, we're about to hit number 1. So.
Guys.
Oh my god.
I like
Here we go.
Nick, what do you have to say about Paris?
I like it.
you liked it?
I liked it.
Okay, I like it.
You liked it?
I liked it. Yeah. We're on number 65.
Guys,
That's The Prestige, and someone has this on their list. His name is Gris,
What number is it
and it's numbered
on
that
Gris's list?
this is number 1.
It's
Gris's
a number
favorite
1
movie of all
the
time.
best movie ever made.
Good
This is the best movie
Lord.
ever made. This is wildly underrated. Christopher Nolan at his best, visually, character building, like story-wise, like the feuding magicians in the turn of the century. Like, I mean, this movie is just brilliant. The more I watch it, the more I learn more, the more I want to find out more about these characters, the people around it, the history of it all. Like, there's so much like, this was in my top 5. I mean, I saw this 15 years ago. They came out. So knowing that it's been in my top 5 for a long time, it's just slowly creeped up from 5 to 4 to 3 to 2 to 1. And it wasn't until the last couple of years that it went to 1. So I
like
think
The Illusionist better.
Anyone else
I'm
confuse
just
this
kidding.
one with The
Jeez.
Illusionist? Because it's
I
like the
confu-
same year.
I'm kidding. It's
both kind of big budget,
Yeah,
serious
I confused
magician
them.
movies, period pieces.
and it's not on anyone's other, no one's other like list.
I would put Interstellar above this for Christopher Nolan. But
As a super fan now, I actually have a Bigger Picture Show, the Prestige poster hanging at home. And then Katie got me another Prestige poster. So thank you for that for Christmas.
it's a very good movie, and
It is a very
I'm
good
not mad
movie.
at you for
Yeah.
putting it number 1.
yeah.
and Hugh Jackman is great in this movie.
Huge.
Yeah. No singing.
Christian
He
Bale.
doesn't sing in
Yep.
this one.
Yep.
Huge
So-
Jackman.
Huge Jackman. I'm shocked you guys don't have, no one has this out of the 4 of us in their top 100.
Well, let's move on to another one that's another number 1 for one of us. Number 64.
What a dog shit movie.
I'm pulling out my extended card.
This is going to be okay. This is going to be
All right.
Groundhog Day, and I think that is that a
throw the flag. He's throwing the flag out.
yeah. So we're
wearing
going to
a
talk a
shirt.
little extra
He's
about
wearing
this
it.
one.
I'm wearing the shirt. I'm wearing Bing.
So how much extra are we giving you?
Ned Ryerson. We'll go just until I'm done. Right.
Okay.
That's fair. Oh boy.
So this is welcome to Brian's Corner. Everyone. No, I'm just kidding. What,
Hold on,
30
we gotta-
extra seconds. 30 extra seconds.
Okay.
This is my favorite movie of all time. It's been my favorite movie of all time for a long time. Another interesting fact, if you sort this on Rotten Tomatoes by top critics, 100%. But no, it's just so good, and I'm a sucker, and maybe I'm the only one that's ever the proponent for tharks. We always don't want to do themes and arcs, you know. I love themes and arcs, and to me, this movie has maybe one of the best character arcs of all time because it's a person who literally lives thousands of lifetimes, and it's almost like reincarnation. They get to do it over again until they get it right. I think that's a very, very interesting concept. It's also hilarious. I mean,
Yeah.
Bill Murray is so good in this movie. What do I have here? I'm just going to read this. The single best character arc of all time. A much more profound and devastating movie than it seems at first glance. I think the more you watch this movie, the more depth you discover. There have been many retrospectives done recently that unpack the exploration of the human condition in the heart of the story. So you can go on YouTube. People are still to this day making retrospectives on Groundhog Day, exploring the themes there. I think it spawned a subgenre all by itself. You get movies that come out and you're like, oh, it's like Groundhog Day in space or Groundhog Day in Palm Springs or whatever it is. You've got like Edge of Tomorrow, Palm Springs, Source Code, Happy Death Day, Boss Level, Before I Fall. There's a lot of movies that sort of like use that gimmick because it's such a powerful way to explore somebody's character arc. And then I think it's just like a masterclass in deadpan humor from Bill Murray. And then all that aside, even if you don't take any of the profundity of it, it's just a wonderfully delightful love story. If you want to call it a romantic comedy, I'm going to put it above When Harry Met Sally, only because it's my favorite movie of all time. So we watch it every year at Groundhog Day, and it just gets better and better with age.
I wish it was
What do you
about a
guys think
more
about it?
important holiday, you know? Because I feel like it'd be more popular then.
What if it was Christmas?
But Groundhog Day is such a weird holiday.
It does own that.
I think
single
that's
holiday.
that's
It's
a
so
funny
random.
that's a
Yeah.
funny random thing.
it's
And I
gotta
think
be
it
in
makes
winter.
it makes it unique because if it was
Thank you.
Christmas, if it was Thanksgiving, we wouldn't talk about it as much. And so I think that's what makes it memorable to the everyday man. But
And just
then once you-
practically, it's like it's more likely that there's going to be a snowstorm on February 2nd.
Yeah, I
You know what
recently
mean?
rewatched this and I have a lot more respect for it.
Yeah.
And I know that I made this list before I had watched that.
Cheers.
And, yeah. So I think there are a few films that we've mentioned today that I would add back to my top 100. So
How about Andie MacDowell? I feel like she never quite totally broke through the way she should have.
I know.
To be fair, she's in a lot of good stuff and she's in a lot of movies, but she never felt like quite top tier like I thought she really should be. Like she was really great in this movie.
She was really precious in the movie.
Yeah, she was so good. And it all like rewatching it multiple times, you just kind of get the feeling like it's just dreadful.
Yeah, dude,
you know what I mean?
It's a serious movie.
It's a serious movie.
I mean, freaking commits suicide.
Super dark.
Yeah.
I mean,
for a comedy, it's very dreadful.
It's twisted as fuck.
Yeah, I really respect the hell out of where they went with it.
And it's ironic because it's almost like you rewatch the movie and it's almost like Groundhog Day because it's happening over and over and you're rewatching it and you're discovering more and more things and it starts to get kind of weirdly meta. But I just there's so many things. It's almost like a Rick and Morty episode. This gimmick presents you with so many opportunities to explore things that you wouldn't be able to explore otherwise in narrative structures and screenplays. And one of them is just an example here. This is the last thing I'll say because I pulled out my card. The piano teacher, this piano teacher, from her mind, he's only been her student for one day. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so she boasts when he's up there doing the jazz standard that she's like, he's my student. And and it's like, that's silly for her to say that because she's only been his teacher for one day. But in reality, she's taught him for, 50 years. Yeah. And so she really is his piano teacher and she doesn't understand that. So you think it's, I don't know.
That's
it's
what
crazy.
On rewatch, the level of that just like blows my mind because that stuff, like, what do you think his day would feel different because he's like, oh, I'm coming to you. I'm an expert at piano. I just need a few more tweaks here and there.
Yeah. What would it be like on the last lesson? He comes in and she's like, you don't need me to teach you or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? Nick, do you like the movie?
Yes.
Yes. Thanks, guys. All right. That's my card. Number one movie of all time.
We did it.
Number 63, and we're headed back to you, Ben.
Hell yeah.
Ben?
Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, and we're at another number one. Another number one for Ben. And we will say, I mean, other people obviously agree this is a pretty good movie. 11 nominations with the Academy Awards and 7 dubs.
So tied with The Sting and Schindler's List for
that's a banger.
Nominated on the list.
That's a banger. Ben, why?
Okay, if this movie could have been made directly for me, then there couldn't be another movie.
Okay.
Like I love every part of this movie. It is a kung fu movie. It is a time travel movie. It is a heartfelt movie. It is it is everything.
Underdog story.
It's everything everywhere all at once. Like the title is the most apt title of all time. It is funny. It is clever. It is well written. It is fun. It is funny. It's irreverent. It's weird. It's also all like it's literally everything. Like you can't make a better movie. I really love every part of this. I think that they can't do better.
I mean, I agree. You forced me to go watch this and see this, and I was excited to kind of see what all the hype was about. It got a lot of hype. I mean, there was no understatement to how Oscar worthy this was, and I literally wrote down like, this just isn't it. I'm so it's like I had a really hard time watching this, and like, but it's very enjoyable. It's very funny. I think the main actor, I'm gonna butcher his name.
Kwan.
Yeah. So like his performance is easily the best. Everything else just felt ancillary to him being as strong as he is. And I think that's the hardest part for me.
My favorite thing about Kwan's performance is that he plays an understated like nerd essentially, and then switches into a very confident.
I love that. I think the underdog story, the power dynamic of that is just super cool. And I love that in films. So.
And it has one of my favorite scenes of all cinema. Like the scene where they're in it's almost, so it's kind of weird. I'm going to use my 2 minutes, my extra 2 minutes on this.
We should at this moment we should like turn the camera and reveal Ben for YouTube.
No, that's not until episode 100.
Could you hit a current affair or something just so we can signify?
Hold on, I got.
Or give us a do you like it?
We're making him work on his
or Tokyo Drift, anything.
He's finally like talking for a long time. We're like, fucking produce.
I'm sorry,
you piece of shit. Do something.
No, so it reminds me of In the Mood for Love. The scene is very, very, very similar to In the Mood for Love, where they're in the alleyway outside of the thing, and they're having a heartfelt conversation between the two of them. And he's just talking about how he's like, in another life, I think it would be fun just to do laundry and taxes. And that whole sentiment is it hit me in a way that no other film has ever hit me. And it made me feel like I, have a purpose in my life. Like, and which is huge to say for a film. Like,
if a
it's
film
kind
can
of
be that poignant,
But it made me feel something in the midst of all this silliness and stupidness, where you're like only worrying about bagels, and circles and kung fu and jumping time warps. Anyway, so that's my thing.
Ronald Reagan, the actor.
I hit the wrong button.
No, that was so good. No, please.
That was it. That was the act.
That couldn't have been better.
Why?
Not only did we give producer Ben the moment, he fails to
sabotaged himself. He just spoke this beautiful. It
was awesome. That was perfect. He did it on purpose. I could tell.
You can't make that shit up.
Amazing. That was so
I
good.
feel like that's apropos of everything everywhere all at once.
Yeah, actually,
Like,
you're right.
yeah.
That's very everything everywhere all.
Oh,
I messed
man.
it up bad.
And
Whoops.
speaking of Ronald Reagan, we're going to move on to our 60-second film
Oh man.
on our cumulative Critical Mass Top 100. Have I mentioned this is Critical Mass, and we're sponsored by the most ambrosial Old Elk? And if you didn't know, Old Elk has spun off a series that's actually on
A
Fox.
television series.
It's on 9/8 Central.
Starring Zachary Quinto, right?
Starring Zachary Quinto, 9/8 Central, Fox this fall, as the Ambrosialist. And he's he's like a whiskey bourbon connoisseur, but he also, I think he fights ghosts and terrorism.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, similar to Jack Bauer and the CTA. Yeah.
And he's like twice divorced, and he's got all kinds of baggage, but like,
Yeah, he's got a lot of baggage, but he's also still like he's kind of available. Like he's hot still. Like he's attractive.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Oh,
Like
yeah,
the
yeah.
Ambrosialist is kind of like he's the Ambrosialist. Like it's like he's
Also,
kinda,
Zachary Quinto, he can't be not attractive.
Yeah, I mean, look
also
at that guy.
true.
Yeah.
Also true.
He's
Yeah,
just 5 steps ahead of everyone else.
5 steps ahead. He's playing 4D chess. The Ambrosialist, 9/8 Central, Fox
Sunday nights.
Sundays. Okay. Number 62.
Okay, every movie from here on out is on multiple lists, so this is about to get
multiple
spicy.
Yeah,
lists.
this is
Here we
getting
go,
hot.
guys.
This is getting hot.
Blade. Number 62.
Oh my
Hey, you know what, guys?
God.
I'm gonna use my extendo.
Oh, shit.
On Blade.
Wow.
Can you give me a Ronald Reagan?
Oh,
Ronald Reagan,
That's right.
Ronald Reagan, the actor.
I did get
Thank you, Ben.
I'm gonna not say a word and I'll let you guys cook.
I don't even know what I have to say about this movie, except for anyone that knows me knows how I feel about this film, and it's honestly a little weird that where did I even rank this?
Nick, you've got it at 49.
which is kind of
that seems low.
What the fuck?
Ben's got it on his list,
I do.
56, because Ben's fucking badass, and
Yeah.
Gris has got it on his list because he's pretty cool too. 93. Brian's over
Yeah.
there, kind of like
it snuck in there at
that's
93.
Kind of a little bit of a struggle, but
Yeah.
Anyways,
on Grizz's
guys.
revise, it might just be you and Ben over there
Guys.
when Grizz revises his list. That's all.
well, okay, it's
I
on
might
the
have
list
put it
for
a little
now.
high, but I still keep it on my 100.
Fans at home can
So-
look at our list eventually one day. So
First of all,
Patreons.
the first thing I want to say about this film is the opening sequence is the best, probably opening sequence of any movie ever made, and I do not say that lightly. I rewatch it probably every 3 months and have for the last 20 years. It's just the Blood Rave. It is just
Yeah.
so perfect in every way. It's the introduction
It is.
of Blade, and just the way he just goes off on these vampires, just slaughters these vampires, and the way they're just so terrified of him, but they still fight him. It's just such a brilliant setup to the whole franchise. I love everything about this movie, and I'm a little embarrassed it's ranked so low on my list.
I am too.
Chris Christopherson is so good in this. R.I.P. by the way, he just passed. Great musician, great actor, great in this movie. Really, like honestly, great in this movie. Blade 68 Charger, man. Damn, it's probably the coolest car, man. In
I'm
almost any
sorry.
movie
Are
ever.
you gonna raise this up on your list? during this conversation? Because I would be very upset if you did.
Wait, my algorithm can't handle live updates.
Let me clarify something here. So this is one of those movies that like I'm going to recognize. This is not The Godfather. This is not It's a Wonderful Life. It is not the craft,
enjoyability, the personable
film craft in this film. It's not at that level of a lot of other movies on my list, but the enjoyability level is through the fucking roof. And we have an episode on this film, by the way, which I will very clearly articulate all of my stances on this very, very fine vampire hunter film. I'll also just throw out there too, a very, almost made my list, very worthy sequel. Blade 2 is excellent. Guillermo del Toro, very, very good movie that is almost as good as the first one. And it's probably like number 110 or something on my all-time movie list. So if you have not seen Blade, I think it's the best superhero movie of all time, if I haven't already said that. With apologies to The Dark Knight, which didn't make our list, which is kind of interesting. Dark Knight, right?
Yeah.
Wow, I'm shocked. Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, which is kind of universally acclaimed as sort of the best, I think, in a lot of views.
It's probably my third favorite Nolan film. It's a great movie.
It's a great movie.
It's
but
not the best. It's not the best Batman movie.
Yeah, not the best Batman movie. I agree with that. I guess
I agree with that.
So, guys, I want to hear what you have to say about Blade because I think it's the fucking bee's knees.
Go ahead, Brian.
I mean, it's on my list.
It wasn't on my list, so you guys.
Wasn't on your list?
Oh wow.
It's on my list because I truly enjoy that movie.
Yeah,
I think it's one of the best superhero movies all time, and not just superhero movies, like movies. It transcends the genre, which is saying something about a superhero movie. It's all the acting is very well done. Blade is incredible. Like you want to be
He's such a badass.
You want to be him.
Yeah.
And it's so way ahead of its time, right? It's like the effects are still really good. It's a movie that could come out today and still be good.
I will speak on the effects. I think the third act effects were really, really bad and really rough.
You talk about the final sequence,
and I'm not going to joke. Like the explosion and deaths of all the vampires, where they explode into a fiery, like little dust pile. Like that is still today looked at as like, holy shit, that's really good effects. Yeah. So
also the sword fight at the end is
really going back to the basics.
A lot of great kind of kung fu influence.
Yeah, and that's why it made my list was because the kung fu.
And thank you, Blade and Joe Hahn from Linkin Park for getting me into EDM and electronic music. I mean, both of them, just hands down. 99.
We love you, Blade. We love you.
Fun fact: the only movie on our list that has a rotten critical score on Rotten Tomatoes.
Well, I don't even want to say anything negative about that. I appreciate the critics.
Wow, way to
appreciate
throw
the
that
work
out
they put
there,
in.
Brian.
Appreciate the work they put in. Okay, we're moving on to 61. It's going to be a film I actually almost watched last night. It's called Alien. And it is on 2 people's lists. Should be on 4 people's lists, but it's on 2 people's lists. It's on Nick's list. He's got it at number 12. Because he knows what's up. And then it's on Gris's list at number 83. Also respects this film. So,
I'm sorry. It should be on my list.
Yeah, well, we appreciate that.
I'm sorry.
I feel like from my perspective, I'm not like I know there's a lot of horror films that came before this, but I think this is the first one that I saw where it just like teased me through the entire runtime. Where it's like, all right, this is the monster. We don't know what it is. They would tease a claw or a thing or a slime or whatever it was. And I think this just like built up that intensity, that anxiety in me to be like, all right, what is this thing?
Yeah, it's a
just
slow
like,
burn.
It's ripping through humans, and I just don't know how or where or what it looks like. And I think that's where this genre for me just exemplifies how intense this movie is. And I think outside of this movie, I cannot tell you, like, it is far in between. I think Prometheus is a great Alien film. Anything else, I think that's number 2 in the list. Like that comes behind Alien. And it's still a far cry from how good this one is. Like visually, storytelling, all that stuff. And again, another intense, all-encompassing film, just like Fury or Speed. Like it's all inside of a bus or it's all inside of a tank. Like this is just like that's inside
single
spaceship.
location. I want to hear what Nick has to say because it's very high on your list. I just will say that it's one of the greatest horror movies of all time. And I love it. It's a good movie. Yeah.
I love this franchise. I think, as you said, I think Prometheus needs love because I think it's a really great movie. And I think Aliens is phenomenal as well. Almost made my top 100. This is the second greatest horror movie ever made, with apologies to Jaws. Something I want to say about this movie specifically is that I think, once again, the atmosphere in this movie is just brilliant. The characters are so interesting because I think this is a subtle but important point. unlike most kind of spacefaring adventures, like Star Wars, Star Trek, that kind of stuff, where the protagonists, they wear cool costumes and they're kind of glamorous and they go on world-saving missions and stuff. The characters in Alien, they're the equivalent of like intergalactic truck drivers, right?
Yeah.
They are grunts.
Yeah.
They are not special people,
that.
right?
I love the griminess of it.
And I love that so much for a space movie, right? Chest explosion scenes, still one of the most tense and glorious scenes in movie
so
history.
amazing.
Practical effects.
So scary.
And this movie just so well written, great script.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Quick correction: Aliens is in your top 100. It's at 71.
Oh, is it? Oh shit. Okay, sorry.
Oh,
Thank
yeah.
you.
It's
Yes,
inside.
I'm glad that made that.
Yeah.
Good.
Your intuition was right.
Yeah, it should have been
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
and it is there. Good. All right, we're on to number 60. We got 10 left, guys. So 1917 is what this is going to be, and that's on two people's list. We've got Ben and Gris. We got Ben. It's in the top 20, number 19. Gris, 76.
Yep.
This one's got a boatload of nominations by the Academy. 10, 3 wins. So yeah, guys, talk to us about it, because I'm going to be frank, I haven't seen it, and I'm sorry.
All I wrote down was beautiful. I mean, the cinematography, the visual effects, the story of this is so simple, and it just follows one character through the entire war and through this mission that he's on, and then it's just so powerful. And I just can't believe. I probably should bump it a little bit more, but I know it's a recent film. It's hard for me to take recent films and be like, how far does it go up on the list? But I highly recommend it to anybody. I think this is just it's kind of a slow burn film, but I think it's well worth the watch.
I think in 10 years, I think recency is the problem for me. I think in 10 years, this might end up in my top 100.
Yeah.
And I think it deserves an Academy Award for logistics.
Yeah,
if
for
that
real.
exists. It's a great movie. Worth a watch for sure.
Yeah, I will watch it. Yeah.
I think that it has some of the best one shots in all of cinema.
I still don't know how they did it.
I've
watched featurettes on it. And I still don't know.
You can watch behind the scenes of this film and still not understand how they got what they got.
Yeah.
It is beautiful. It is fun in terms of like character building. Like you want to root for these people. You want to root for the main guy. You want him to survive even through the midst of all of this chaos that is happening around him. It's devastating. It's it's really a good film.
Yeah.
All right.
Check it out.
We're into the 50s. 59.
There we go.
And this film is called The Fifth Element.
Oh my God.
It's on two people's lists. Once again, should be on 4, but 2.
It should.
For me, it's number 17, one of the greatest movies ever made.
Mm-hmm.
And for Gris, number 74, still very respectable. Yeah, we're going to keep it real here. So I'll get us started here. Really a special movie to me. I remember seeing it in the theater with my dad and just really just enjoying it. And I've watched it at least a dozen times since then over the years. And just a couple quick notes about this movie, about what makes it so special. So the big, chunky, practical alien costumes and sort of effects and just the whole aesthetic, it's just so endearing and it just adds so much visually to the movie. And I feel like movies generally just don't do this anymore. There's so much slick CGI and just these kind of big, kind of almost sloppy sort of alien costumes. They're just, just the whole aesthetic was just really interesting. And the world that is created in The Fifth Element.
World building is
That's-
on
It's just
top.
That's my note.
it's almost as intriguing as any movie ever. It's such a fascinating take on the future, right? And I'm also just going to toss out Gary Oldman, man. He is just majorly underrated in this movie. He's so good. He's so good as a bad guy, just period. And he's just no exception in this film. Chris Tucker is really great in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Tommy Lister Jr., Debo, great in this movie. Like all the sort of kind of sub character people in this movie are just so good.
Interesting casting.
Yeah,
Yes.
interesting but brilliant casting, and I could just gush for this movie for fucking hours.
Mia Jovovich as Lilu is one of my favorite
yeah,
singular
she is
characters of any
amazing
movie
too.
ever.
She's so good. Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah, I mean, the cast in this is just over the top. Everybody's playing at like a high level of just like over the top. They're so intense. The world building, like you said, is just like, this is maybe the first like sci-fi movie where I was like, oh, this is like wildly interesting. It felt like gross and gritty, like the piles of trash and like how like the world is just disgustingly gross and overgrown and like they're all just trying to get somewhere. I think it's just...
it feels realistic.
It feels so real for a movie that's so outlandishly fake.
Brian, how's this not on your list?
When we talked about if these 100 movies were the best movies ever made, and In the Mood for Love would have been 48.
Yeah.
Conversely, if this list was just my 100 most enjoyable movies, this would have been in my top 10.
Yeah.
It's a mix of
Yes.
both.
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
Maybe
That's
we should
fair.
have a
That's
nice
fair.
little side list of just most enjoyable by all.
Yeah,
of
that
us.
would be harder for
I
me.
know
to-
it would be harder, but you would have to scale it so much
Yeah.
differently.
Yeah, it would be different. It'd be a different
Yeah.
list.
It'd be hard for us. I mean, come on,
Watch The Fifth Element.
you have to.
So good. 58. Mad Max Fury Road.
Beautiful.
This is on 3 people's list. Let's go.
Yeah, buddy.
Ben's got it right at number 50. Nick has got it at number 58. Gris has got it at number 82. This movie's got 10 Academy Award nominations, 6 dubs.
Second most on the list.
Yeah.
Read
so
those out for us real
impressive.
fast.
Costume design, production design, makeup, hairstyling, film editing, sound editing, mixing. So performances or directing or
100%
picture, but
visual.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How-
which
how-
makes
yeah.
kind of sense.
how well
Makes
it's made.
sense.
Yeah, visually.
This and Apocalypto are my 2 favorite chase movies. I think this is another really, really strong example of world building. Like Immortan Joe, what a great character. Such a key, vital part of this world. You know, I think there's a few characters in this film that really stand out, that really help build the world. And I'll also just say that this is exactly the kind of movie that I feel like Tom Hardy was built for. And it's ironic that he was apparently like a huge, dick on the set and was like really hard to work with and didn't believe in the project and everything. And I think part of his rationale for that I read was that there was no shooting script for this film. It was all based on storyboards, which is, I guess, how George Miller works, which is sort of unusual. So he didn't see the vision, I guess. Nonetheless, his performance came off as quite excellent and fit the film very well. And damn, the practical effects in this movie, so fucking good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Visually, this movie is just unbelievable. I think the crazy thing that gets me about this film every time I watch it is the amount of dialogue. There is so little dialogue in this movie, but visually it's telling the entire story. You don't have to. I think that's a hard thing with a lot of, say, superhero movies or Marvel movies or mass market movies nowadays, is they are just literally spewing out everything needs to be explained to every single person. I think that's why I respect a lot of, The Prestige is my number 1 movie. And then also this one is just like, it visually tells you a lot without you not really paying attention to it. So I think that gives a lot of credit for me.
Also, practical effects. Like, they did a lot.
Yeah.
So good.
For real.
So good.
Immortus Joe, like the way he looks, like his chest guard, like
everything about it was just very good.
It was the best movie of 2015.
Good timing.
Didn't even have to do
nice. Look at this guy.
57. There Will Be Blood.
Guys.
Who's got it on their list? Well, Gris does. It's way up there, number 4. And Nick's also got it on there as well. He's got it at number 82. This one has 8 nominations.
Mm-hmm.
I made a mistake. They should be on my list.
It should be on all your lists. I'm sorry.
It's not on my list.
It's got a
I'm
couple
shocked.
of dubs in terms of Academy Awards. But Gris, start us off.
Guys, this movie is so weirdly quiet but loud at the same time. I think it is brutal, and it just goes into the highs and lows of human nature. I mean, from everybody that the main character is just like sucking away from people. I mean, the oil obviously is a nice tie into, he's literally sucking the lives and the livelihood of all these people, the land. He's taking everything from everyone. And they are just completely blind to the idea that he is not a kind person. He is a horrible human being.
Yeah.
So I think that is just such an interesting, most brilliant way to tell a story. And I think it's so wildly visceral for me to watch this film over and over and over again and catch little tiny things. And I mean, that end scene, milkshake, if you have never seen this film, go watch it. It is I still think it's easily one of the best films ever made.
Yeah. So it's definitely a good film for sure.
So among the best soundtracks of all time. So moody, so ambient. The tonality of it. It's Johnny Greenwood, Radiohead fame. Really, really good. The performances, among the best I've ever seen.
Paul Dano's really good.
Peak
too.
Daniel Day-Lewis. This movie put
good.
Paul Dano on the map for me. This is the movie that kind of I realized he was a great actor.
Yeah.
And I will also kind of a little bit echoing what you're saying, Gris. This is one of the most savage films I think that's ever been made, with actually not even showing that much savagery really at the end of the day. And just the brutal savagery of the ending is sort of this perfect exclamation point, I feel like, on this film. So brilliant movie.
I watched this and No Country for Old Men. They both came out the same year.
Yep.
I've never wanted to watch this again. I've watched No Country for Old Men like 4 times.
I think that's fair.
I'm shocked. You should really rewatch this.
They always equate those two movies.
I will,
because they were the two best movies that year.
I guarantee you, I'll never watch There Will Be Blood again in my life.
Wow.
Yeah, just didn't. It's like, yeah, that was good. I don't feel the need to watch it.
The more I watch it, the more intense it gets, and more of this the least.
I'm with you on this, Chris. I'm with you on this.
Yeah, man.
Number 56 is going to be Mission Impossible. The first one. That's on a couple of lists. Brian's got it at number 30. Nick's got it at number 54. So I'll start here. The first time I saw this movie, I thought it was pretty boring.
Agreed.
I was a little too immature to appreciate its nuance and the complicated story, and I wanted more action. And now that I've rewatched this movie a few times as someone who's matured a little bit, this is a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many things I like about it. Just a couple of quick things. The final sequence, obviously, it's become a cliche for good reason. It's incredible and so well executed. And just the way they have to kind of foil all these security countermeasures. It's just so fun and it's so good. And honestly, one of the best quotes in the history of film, I think, is in this movie, and it's Kittredge.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You want to shake hands with the devil? That's fine. That's fine with me. I just want to make sure you do it in hell.
Ooh, yes.
Gosh, that is fucking gangster.
Yeah.
That's good.
Jeez. Great movie, guys.
It's the best Mission Impossible movie. It's not so much an action movie as it is like a suspense thriller. There's so much dialogue happening, and the way it tells the story with like misdirection. There's so much misdirection happening in this movie. Mm-hmm. You don't know who's good, who's bad, and it's just it's a masterclass in telling what could have been a super goofy movie based on a TV show and giving it new life and presenting it in a way that's unique and just works. And Tom Cruise, like, I don't know. I cannot think of anyone else who could have been Ethan Hunt.
Yeah, he's so good. This movie is smart.
It's so smart.
Smart movie.
I just watched it with my son, and we're watching through all the Mission Impossibles for a second time. And we just finished Fallout, and we've got one more to go for a second time. And when we went back and rewatched the first Mission Impossible after he had finished all of them, he'll be 15 in March. The entire time through Mission Impossible, he was asking me questions. He's like, wait, Dad, what? He was asking all these questions.
It's kind of hard to follow.
I was like, yes, I love that, because a lot of the other Mission Impossibles, as good as they are, you don't ask any questions.
I can respect
you just
that.
go with it.
Yeah.
My
I
11-year-old
love complicated movies.
My 11-year-old, we watched it, and it's like he has so much fun with it. We were on like 5 or 6 now, but one he couldn't get through 30 minutes. We couldn't.
It's
watch
probably
it.
the hardest one to sort of understand.
Yeah,
I want to go back and rewatch
understand.
it. We had to stop it and went to the next, and like he thought 3 was like horrifying. Like he thought it was just a horror film. Like it was just fun.
Yeah, great movie.
Thanks, Ben. Thanks for not escalating the volume. You could have gone harder in that volume.
Should have.
And you really eased up for
But
me,
it's
and I
Mission
appreciate
Impossible,
that.
and we got to talk about it for a second.
I do love that movie.
We're getting to the end here of our kind of the back 50.
We are.
We're on number 55, and this one is going to be Tenet, which is inexplicably on two people's lists. Ben at 31 and
This
Gris
is
at 53.
shocking to
Yeah.
me.
Guys, seriously,
Shocking.
I just all I want to say is fuck this movie, and this one's offensive to me. So please, please defend it. Please defend it.
Wow.
I'll shut up.
I'm shocked.
You go, because
I
I'm
mean-
not on camera.
As a movie theater experience, I really did not like this when I first saw it in theaters. I did not like it when I rewatched it at home. I think when I went and saw it at IMAX 70 millimeter, like I was just like blown away. Like I just saw a lot more of it. I appreciated a lot more of it. I think what Nolan did in this film will be something more appreciated and underrated in 10, 15 plus years. from now.
Agree highly with that.
And I
Yes.
think that's what I see as a future of this film, rather than something that somebody just watches it and like, oh, I didn't understand it. I thought it was stupid. I didn't understand it. I don't get it. Like a lot of people wrote this film off. And when I went and saw it in theaters, it was an experience. And I think that's the hardest part, because it came out during COVID, 2020, like 21, something like that. And I think a lot of people just had a really hard time trying to see it in theaters. And I think that was the experience it was expected to be seen in.
Gris and I saw it together.
Yeah, right.
In the IMAX 70 millimeter, and it is a different experience.
Yeah.
Seeing it that way, it is
Full scale, the whole thing.
Yeah, you understand more. You understand the relationships to each other, the characters, you understand. Oh, okay, this you're going backwards, but they're going forwards. That kind of thing. You see it in a much bigger scale, literally.
I mean, it's definitely, I respect it for the ambition of it and the complicated nature of it. And I think it unfairly took a lot of heat for being a terrible movie. I like Nick said, I just don't see a world in which I'd put this even in my top 500 movies. You know what I mean? Like,
Thank you.
It's just, it's shocking that it's here, but here it is. So,
and I respect that you guys like it, but boy, that movie sucked, in my opinion. I didn't understand a word of dialogue. It's like, at least can I hear this fucking sound? And I guess that was like intentional, that the dialogue was kind of obscured and you couldn't hear it very well.
Weird.
Like, it was okay. Yeah. That seems very pretentious to me.
I do just want to double down and say that it's a very well made movie.
Yeah, and it's visually striking.
Yeah.
No doubt about that, but didn't love it. We're on to number 54, a much better film.
Yep.
Jeez.
It's one better.
It's apparently one better.
Objectively one better.
But to me, it's a lot better. And it's called Casino Royale.
Yeah, buddy.
This one is on 3 people's lists. It's on Nick's list at 53. It's on Gris' list at 60. And it's on Brian's list at 71.
Oh, poor Ben. Poor Ben's not in the club.
This isn't my
Same
top
range.
100
We're all in the
for
same
sure.
range. 50,
Yeah,
60, 70.
we all vibe
similar
on this
vibe.
movie. Hell yeah.
I'll give us a quick start.
I like this movie. Not in my top 100.
Fair enough.
We hear you. We hear you.
What a reinvention of Bond. Did it flawlessly.
Yeah.
The opening sequence is kind of all you need to see. The juxtaposition between the smooth parkour guy kind of running away from Bond, who's just smashing through brick walls and shit.
Of them. Yeah.
You know, it just sets the tone for what Bond is going to be like, just for the next 5 movies or whatever. And then the only other thing I'll say, Gris, you'll appreciate this. The poker scene, as a poker player, tough watch.
It's hard.
It's the worst part of this movie.
But that's can I be fair and say almost every poker movie is a tough watch?
It is. You're absolutely right.
It's sort of like it's sort of like any movie with hackers in it. As a computer guy, they're all tough watches. So you kind of have to.
Rounders
it's
was
hard.
fun.
And then the very last thing I'll say is just, guys, Eva Green.
Yeah, she's great.
Gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, with rounders, that's an easy one because you look at that and it's you have to think about the hands. You don't just look at it and be like, oh, flush versus royal flush versus 4 of a kind. Like, it's not just obvious things. And I think that's the hard thing with poker is like you don't see the hours and hours of hands that you're watching before you hit that kind of thing. But this movie, I wrote it down. This is my James Bond. I'm sorry, like he personified like a new age, a perfect vision of like this spy that's like up and coming. He's doing anything and everything he can do to become James Bond. And I think this movie did it for me. I think it's so powerful. I have no other James Bonds on this list.
I've seen every Bond movie. This is the second best, barely.
Yep.
And the best is GoldenEye, and they're both directed by the same guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this one is so good because I don't even care about the poker stuff. I love that as a theme.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
to me,
great theme.
It's a great theme. It makes it, and that's what GoldenEye has poker in it as well. Or not,
And it was also when poker was really hot. It was good timing.
That was
good timing,
wild
very
timing.
prescient.
Yeah.
But I did love how they went back and told sort of a prequel of Bond, and I love how they kind of present him as this like super egotistical kind of guy, and it's like a great kind of character arc study of kind of who he was and could have been. So good stuff. Had a fucking badass car in it too.
Yeah, what a good movie. Number 53. We got 3 left here. Wally, guys. All right.
Me and Gris.
Pixar.
Guys,
we know what's up.
Being represented. So Brian's got this at number 20. Gris has got this at number 63. This one's got some noms.
Yeah.
6 Academy Award noms and 1 dub for animated feature. So guys, what do you think?
I got to start here. This movie is dark as fuck.
Hell yeah.
If you think about it, the more and more, and like as an adult that watches Pixar movies with his kids, like to be able to watch a film with your children and have a visceral reaction like this compared to what your kids are experiencing, like visually and stimuli wise, like this movie is so dark. Like it talks about some deep themes, and I'm sure you can.
If there's a
appreciate
deeper movie than a deeper Pixar movie than Inside Out, it's WALL-E. And I love the fact that it's basically there. Like if you listen to it, or if like we used to drive and the kids would watch the movie in the back, and for the first solid 30 to 40 minutes, there's no dialogue.
Right.
I mean, it is all show don't tell in this movie. It's the single most beautiful movie on this list, animated or not. In my opinion, it is a beautiful, beautiful movie. In not just visually, but just it's just a beautiful telling a story. So I said figuratively and literally, it's beautiful. And then it's definitely my favorite Pixar movie. It's brilliant. It is very, very dark. And I love the theme of it. I mean, we got one world. I hate to say it, but we got one. It feels like that could be where we head in the future. A bunch of people who are just sitting in chairs watching TikTok. I mean, it's like, I don't know, it feels a little, it kind of hits close to home a little bit. But yeah, it's just the characters are so beautiful. It reminds me of movies we talk about when like there's like the poor girl with the rich guy, you know, the fish out of water, or like the odd couple match. Wally and Eva are sort of personify that. So
a love story amongst the trash.
Mm-hmm. Ooh,
you know what I mean?
Juxtaposition.
Like it's a beautiful story versus what ugliness it's come down to.
Yeah, for sure.
Great movie, guys. I'm a little guilty I didn't put it on my top 100. Yeah, really good.
You just validated you said the right thing.
Yeah.
I love it.
Really
exactly.
good film.
If we can get one of us to
Good
say
job.
that feels like an
Good
accomplishment.
job.
Yeah. I'm sad you didn't do it.
I've
for
written
my
down a
number
few
one.
movies that I'm like, I got to look at this list.
I mean, it's just a really good movie.
6 nominations and 1 win, animated feature. Yeah.
So we got another Pixar, number 52.
Weird that they're back to back.
Dang,
That's
back-to-back.
weird.
That is Toy Story. It's on 2 of
and
our
it's
list.
our list to get. It's
Let's
me
go,
and you,
baby.
buddy.
Come on. It's only us.
This time you're higher than me.
Gris is
wow.
at 39. Brian's at 43, so
Yeah.
very close. And we got 3 noms for this one. So it's guys, and I'll start here. I have not seen this movie in probably 20 years. I mean, just to be frank with you.
Yeah.
But I really remember just enjoying this movie. Great movie. I kind of blend it together with Toy Story 2. I feel like 1 and 2 are just both really, really, really good. And 3, they're all really good.
4 is good too.
4's good too, yeah.
Yeah, I guess I probably should go back and rewatch, but all I can recall is that I really enjoyed Toy Story. Great movie.
Toy Story 1 is the best of the franchise, and I will say Toy Story changed the game on animated movies.
Absolutely.
I wrote down like Toy Story defined Pixar. Like Pixar defined animation from this point on. Like it is from this movie on. It has been like
there's
this is how you do
there's
it.
a world of cinema after Toy Story and before Toy Story.
And I think they told such a wildly interesting, different story. Like the whole like your toys come alive when you're not looking. It's just like so profound and like so interesting and so intriguing. I think that's what got most audiences. I think the flamboyant, like the visuals, all that stuff was very interesting, but I don't think that kind of came out until much later, where it took a year to render, an hour of a movie. It just seems absurd. But
Slink the Dog, voiced by Jim Varney, R.I.P.
Yeah. I think Toy Story 2 I might have edged out just a bit more than
Toy Story 2
1.
is very, very good.
Yeah,
a lot of people put it above the original, but I put the original.
I put it above the original. I think I did rank it a little bit higher than this, but not by much. So, yeah.
All right, guys, we got one left. And we're not doing this again for another 50 episodes.
Oh my God.
So this
Can
is
you
unless you ask for it.
Can you imagine when we get to our top 10?
I know that's going to be really
unless
fun.
we get
There's going to be
a lot of fun.
Unless we get
it's gonna be
hundreds of
spicy.
comments saying that we should come back out with the next one. No, maybe we'll rethink it. But
Well, we got one left here, and it's number 51, and it is Good Will Hunting.
Beautiful.
And this one made it onto 2 people's lists. Ben's list,
Yep.
25.
Yep.
Griz's list, 57. This one, as we all know, got a lot of Academy Award buzz. 9 noms, 2 wins, including Best Supporting Actor and Original Screenplay. So, guys, why? Why is this 51?
guys, the absurdity that this movie, it was created by Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. They were just like young adults straight out of college. They were in college writing classes and like acting classes. They were trying to come up with a story. And I think it's so wild to me that they built this, they wrote it, they thought of it, and they wrote it in their language, like their like Bostonian, like their way of talking. And I think it's insane that it got so much praise. It won 2 Oscars. I don't know how exactly they got Robin Williams to play that role. Like, what pull did they have?
Just a good script.
Yeah.
I mean, I think.
But like, what pull did they have?
They got
Like,
lucky that they got him. Yeah.
I think it was wildly lucky. It's insane.
When
So-
Robin Williams plays serious roles besides Patch Adams, he's amazing.
Yeah, he's very good. Agreed.
And I think it's just all the odds. I'm a big underdog story guy. I think this just feels like inside and out in the movie and outside the movie, like how they got it made. That I have a lot of respect for that. Maybe I rank it a little bit higher than that, or for that reason. But this movie is just beautiful. Like, great little love story.
What's the scene where they're going back and forth, Matt Damon and Robin Williams? Is he saying it's not your fault?
Yeah.
It's not your fault.
It's not your fault.
That's a powerful scene.
Oh my
It's a powerful
gosh,
scene.
that's so good. Yeah.
It deals with psychiatry. It deals with
Mental health.
Not feeling good enough, staying within your classes. You know, like it deals with deep topics that are not really dealt with in film. And I really love the story of him kind of experimenting with what he loves. You know, like, does he really love science and math and everything, or is it just something he's good at?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's a good point.
It's a beautiful story. I really enjoy all the performances in it. And it's
I do hate the name. It's too gimmicky
I
for me.
hate the name too.
Yeah, the
I
name is
totally
rough.
agree.
But,
Skarsgård is a good, lovable, hateable character in it. And
He's good. Yep.
And
I mean,
We're
fun
over-
fact
we're over
too is
time.
like this movie, I guess they put it in front of the grading system for PG-13, R, and they were asking like, oh, what made it an R or beyond an R? And they said, oh, it's the F word. It's the number of times you said the F word. And they wrote it so many times. They were like, oh, what's the max? And they were like, a handful for an R rated. And they had it at 200 plus the number of times they said it in the film. So I think that's just wildly hilarious that just shows how young they were at the time and like how excited they were. Like, can you imagine how excited you are to win that Oscar and like walk up and like hear your name for that kind of a.
It's also Minnie Driver's a beautiful person, like, and she does such a great job of being a love interest, but also standoffish and
So good.
That's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
That
Was that 50? Do we do 50?
Guys, that's all
50.
50.
We talked about 50.
We're talking about 50 movies just now.
films.
Yeah. You guys have any final thoughts? I thought this was fun.
This was a blast.
yeah.
I want to
This is
say,
really
with
fun.
2 exceptions, I am happy with every single list or every single movie on this list. I'm proud to be part of the people who make up this list. So it's a good list. Yeah.
What were your 2 exceptions?
Tenet,
Yeah. Big exception.
and The Nice Guys.
I'm with you.
And
I'm
not
with you.
not because it's not a good movie, but just when you, I've seen too much.
It's just not better
I've
than The
seen
Godfather
too
2,
much.
guys.
I agree.
Come on.
You guys, I could make a list of 1,000 movies, and they would all be bangers. They would all be so good. Like, that's how many fucking good movies I've seen. So for a movie to not be on this list for me, it's not indicting that movie in any way. But those 2 are the ones where I'm just like, wow, really? Okay,
Yeah.
I trust you guys. So
Yeah.
So for episode 51, we're going to get back to the norm.
Back
we're
to
gonna
the
go
norm.
back to a movie that critics and audiences do not agree on. And we're going to try something new here. We're going to just kind of have someone, one of us is just going to pick a film. We don't know what this film is going to be except for one of us.
we should say we have a list. That we all
have
share.
a list that
We
we
do.
pull
All
from,
of
so we know it's
possible
going
movies.
to So we know it's going to come from this list. But we're going to start with Gris.
We don't know what this is
We
going to be.
don't know
guys.
what film we're going to be talking about next.
Hopefully he does.
But
No, I do.
hope he does.
I want to look up at the ratings real quick.
We're going to ask Gris, what film will we be talking about on episode 51 of Critical Mass?
This one has a
Live reaction.
All right, this one has
this
a 53 critic score and a 72 audience score. So not
Okay.
too far off.
Okay.
It's one of I think I have it in my top 100. I don't think we talked about it. So it's in my top 50. So like I
Okay.
think we have not talked about it yet.
Okay.
I rate this very highly. And I know we were joking about a card related film. We were talking about Casino Royale. I can't do it. This has been at the top of the list. It's Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest.
I do want to do
I'm
Pirates.
hyped.
Let's
I'm
do
hyped for that.
Pirates.
Yeah, I'm ready
Guys,
for that.
I get
Yeah.
too hyped about this movie.
Hey,
I can't wait to rewatch
Black
it.
Pearl's in my top 100.
Oh, shit.
Oh.
Yeah, it's toward the end, but it's
Black
in my
Pearl's
top 100.
great. I feel
You
like
guys
they
both have Pirates of the Caribbean movies in your top 100?
Yes.
I have, yeah.
I love it. I'm
Johnny-
excited.
But hey, I think
Sorry, I
Black
didn't
Pearl
mean
is
to-
a great movie.
Black Pearl's great.
Yeah,
I thought
and I'm
Dead
excited
Man's
to talk
Chest
about
was
this.
so much more intense.
Yeah,
and
I'm ready.
I loved it.
I'm ready. Yeah. Okay, fun.
No,
Cool.
guys, I'm trying to swallow the castor oil right now. I'm
Yeah.
choking this down. I'm accepting it. I'm accepting this.
Okay. Hey, you're gonna get your chance to pick your movie.
No.
This is-
I'm glad we're doing the movie.
Yeah.
I just can't. I just was shocked about the top hundreds, and I'm over it. I shocked me, and I'm over it.
Yes, we're going to have fun.
I love it.
You guys know we're almost 2 years. Over 2 years into this.
We just want to say thank you for listening to this very special episode of Critical Mess, episode 50.
Tell us your favorite movie of
give
all
us-
time.
yeah, please tell us
Actually,
your favorite
tell us
movie
your
of all time.
50th favorite movie.
Yeah, 51st.
So tell us your first favorite
51st.
movie in the year.
51st favorite movie of
No,
all time.
for real. Tell us what's your favorite movie.
Favorite movie of all time.
Yes.
Down in the comments. Yeah.
Just knee-jerk reaction. Just Forrest Gump. Just we know that's your favorite movie. Just put it down.
Something like that. All right, we'll be back to it. Episode 51. We're going to be talking about some Pirates of the Caribbean, and we can't wait to do it. So we'll see you then.
Later.
See ya.